This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in that corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard on a painful Tuesday. Hope you all are hanging in there. December 12th, 2023. Of course, it is all mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley, and he is also a little better rested than actually our normal Monday nights because he was able to get a little extra sleep here, and so did I, by the way. So, yes, I know we are late today, but that was by choice. Just a long week, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I wake up today, it's like, oh, wait a minute. So I had a red eye from Sunday to Monday. Then I had the Monday night football into Tuesday. I didn't go to sleep last night till 4. At 4 is when I felt tired. And then tonight they've got the Panthers and the Kraken at 10:08. I'm like, what the hell are you people doing to me here, man? It's like, Jesus Christ. Something tells me I won't make it for the whole Panther game tonight because tomorrow we got to get back on track. And so we'll get back on track to our 10 a.m. Regular. So I appreciate all of you out there hanging in with us. Hope you watched the post-game show last night. We went late last night, so appreciate all of you, man, as always. But, sometimes we have to adjust certain things, and today we had to adjust a little bit, and it's the beauty of being your own boss. You can kind of do those things, and you don't answer to anybody. That's kind of fun not to be able to answer to anybody. Hope all is well out there. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. Loaded show. Anthony Chang will stop by. Then Cameron Wolf, and then Manny Navarro today on the program. That's what we've got going on. So all is well in the world. Let's see. Jamie Zoria, number 1 in San Jose. I don't have any fire in me as I had my coffee yet. Hopefully I'll get it back soon. Yeah, it's hard. Last night was just, the only thing that made me feel better is watching Cosmos explode. And, it's just that Diggable Planets at the Revolution Live. What? Hold on. Wait a minute. Let us put some boom in it. Just came across my wire. The Diggable Planets at Revolution Live, February 18th. Tickets will go on sale December 15th on Friday. Woo! Because I'm cool like that. Oh, man. Bum-ba-da, 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 bum-ba-da. I gotta go. I will be there. Anybody going to Diggable Planets on Revolution Live? I mean, it's not like I kept up with their music, be totally honest, but their early stuff, that when they first broke out, love it. I still have it. I still play it. Yeah. So I'm going to go just for the hell of it. That should be like a groovy little show, actually. That's cool. If I don't have a bigger show to go to on February 18th, I will be at the Revolution Live to go see a little Diggable Planets. I like that. All right, there you go. Normally, I leave music and entertainment for later in the show, but that just caught my eye, and I had to share. I hope it helped somebody out there. Plus, now they're touring, so they might be going to your town. I'm just glad they're coming here. Let's see, Alexis Palenzuela. Jamie Zoria, remember to smash the hell out of that like button. Please hit the notification bell. Thank you all out there, as always, for supporting us. Ray Sosa in. Romel Valverde. Comments around the league. Tua too fragile, too ineffective without Tyreek. Tua not athletic. Yeah. That's good. Listen, Romel, if I paid attention to people, okay? Oh, you're going on your own? You're going to be on YouTube? We're doing better than all those people. If I listen to people and say, oh, no, that crypto stuff, right? And look at it now. And now I'm fucking laughing at your ass. Like, where are all those clowns that ran their mouth about Bitcoin? Where are they? You know why? Because those are all Mickey Mouse people. They like to just troll and be clowns. None of them invest. None of them know shit. All the people are talking shit about Tua that he couldn't play. Well, look at him now. So you have a bad night, and that's what sets in a whole bunch of negativity, because negativity sells, because people cave in on average to negativity. positive vibes, positive things don't stick to people. You rub them off. It's like no big deal. Something negative, it sticks to your ass like it's like a gum on your soul. You're like, oh crap, you're trying to scrape it off the damn sidewalk and all that. So, if you want to be weak-minded, Romel, by texting, following, and already questioning that, you can go ahead, my brother. You can be weak-minded. I am not that way. I'm not wired that way. As anybody could tell, the way I fight, I'm not wired that way. I don't care if it's a fucking heart attack that I almost had. I don't care if it's my career. I don't care if it's crypto. I don't care if it's Tua. I stick to my guns. And I know what I know, and I believe what I believe in, and I have the conviction. When you waffle like the wind and your opinion changes on a consistent basis, that's the kind of shit that, floats out there. So, Romel, if you want to go ahead and get all caught up in it, which you already are, that's why you're asking me. And please I don't want to see a comment later on. Oh, no, I'm just repeating it. That's bullshit. Okay? You brought it up because it's already in your head. So if you think Tua is soft, most of you would never come back to even work after the hip injury. Most of you would struggle to get out of bed to go get yourself a drink from the refrigerator with a hip injury. This guy fixes it in 9 months and gets out there on an NFL field to get slammed by Michael Brockers. So if anybody thinks that guy's soft, it's fine. But Romel, you're typical of the average person. You get suckered and you buy into all the negativity, and the media loves to sell you the negative bullshit because that's what sells. That's what clicks. That's what gets you to write this. You wouldn't write a damn thing positive to me, but you'll write something negative because that's what gets the world going round. Lesson learned. Ray Sosa, Sal Shankin, Nico Jones, bad play calling, terrible penalty by Chubb, defense collapse, offense not able to move the ball in the final 2 possessions. Last night reminded me of the Jets' miracle in 2000. It was incompetence everywhere, bro. Everywhere, dude. Doesn't matter if it was a penalty by an offensive lineman, it was a mistake by Tua, it was a bad snap by Eichenberg, it was Mike McDaniel with terrible play calling, terrible feel for the game, ignorance against the run. It's Chubb. It's the secondary giving up play after play. It's Fangio not putting pressure on a young quarterback down the stretch. There's so many things. You got a blocked field goal. You got a Chan not running a beautiful bomb that Tua threw, and the guy slows down, and that's why you don't catch the ball. And then who knows what happens after that? All kinds of shit happened in that game. They did everything and anything possible to lose that game, and then the injuries obviously mounting and everything else. It was a disaster last night. It's absolute disaster. But is it like the end of the world? Oh, give me a break, dude. It just, there's a loss, and most of you, okay, like Romel, there's a reason why most of you couldn't handle crypto. The volatility and all that shit. You're too fucking soft. You guys fold like a tent. You have no idea what it's like to look at your portfolio and it's down 50, 60%. And that's why many people just sell or whatever, because you got no guts. That's all. And you easily give in. Chargers Justin Herbert is out for the season. Surgery on his fractured right index finger. Okay. So there you go. I guess all quarterbacks miss a lot of time. But you know what? Romel, the media will only tell you that Tua gets injured. Remember that. Only Tua misses games. Not Joe Burrow, not Justin Herbert. Nobody misses games except Tua. Remember that, Romel. When you tweet out to me, when you text out to me again, some negativity. Hey, the media says Tua's always getting injured. Let's sell that negativity, baby. Let's sell it. Let's see, Lenny, and Sean, and the rest of the Finns Nation. It's all good. We're gonna be all right. We're 9-4. Ain't the end of the world. The coaches should have done better, but we're gonna be all right. I'm not gonna panic until there's panic to set in, So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to think that this is the end of the world? No, dude, I'm not doing that. Jansville says exactly what I was scared of happening. Bad snap cost us a game. Also, McDaniel will never learn. I'm officially giving hope on him correcting his play calling mistakes. Well, we'll see how that works. His explanation is complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's a slap in the face of your fan base. You think we're stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you keep telling me, well, if it doesn't work, it's a bad play. No, dude, it never works. That's the problem. You keep choosing the wrong thing to do at the wrong time. And that's why you keep failing, and that's why they keep bringing it up to you. So, like I said last night, at one point, it becomes a bad decision, not a play call that didn't go well, so it's a bad call. No, it's a bad call. It's a terrible habit. As I told you, it's picadillo time. And that's what's going on with Mike McDaniel. And if you don't know what picadillo time is, you need to listen to last night's show. But Mike McDaniel and picadillo, 100% on target. I still can't believe we lost that game with 2-score lead with less than 3 minutes. Hey, it is what it is. I had nightmares last night, but it'll be all right. Yep. Brooklyn Rob, Dolphins make me cry, but Avalanche is making me smile from ear to ear. Got to take the good with the bad. Yeah. And did you get into Cosmos? Like I told you, I don't know if you got into. I mean, I've mentioned several of the ones that I'm invested in, but I don't know if you got into Cosmos. But that's about to make its run now. I made a nice little boost, but yeah. We love Avalanche. Avalanche went all the way to like the $42 yesterday. It's like at $38, $39 now. But oh man, when you got in the $10 range, you are loving life. Brooklyn Rob is loving life there. And crypto wise, by the way, just to kind of go over a couple things, since people are front runners now, and now that you see it's going in the right direction, maybe you'll start believing. I'm not a financial advisor, of course, whatsoever. So you do your own homework. But we told you about Adam, and it's now at $11.72. This thing, again, it's up 20%. This was down in the $6 to $7, $8 range. Okay. So it's almost in the point where it's starting to double its lowest peak. Okay. This was, I think its high was somewhere in the 40 range or 50. I think it'll surpass that. The ecosystem that Adam has is sick. So this is the start, Brooklyn Rob. You got in about just a little under this for Avalanche, right? Well, I'm just telling you, this is it right here. One more thing. If you download Exodus and you buy your Adam, buy it, on crypto.com or wherever you get it, Bybit, whatever, BitGet, Binance, whatever, okay? Then transfer it over to Exodus. You will get 14% interest, okay? Saying you stake it and you get 14%. It was 21 and 22 for almost a year now, and a lot of us were taking advantage of it. But now it's at 14.7%. Still an amazing interest rate. So just leaving it out there for you. Polygon is at 86 cents. It has made moves over the last couple of months, but it hasn't made its big move. Okay. You could have gotten it at 51, 53 cents back in October. It is now at 86 cents, but this thing is going to go to several dollars. $4, $5, $6, I think. not a financial advisor, hasn't made a move. H-bar made a little bit of a move. It went all the way down to like 4.5 to 5 cents. That was its low. It's at 7.2 cents right now. And I think H-bar is going to go a hell of a lot more. And this one, H-bar is up only 2.5% today, but it really hasn't made its big run yet. Remember, I have told you many times, the feds are going to use H-bar for their payments. Polkadot has made some moves. It was all the way down in the $3.50 to $4 range. It's up to $7. It's up 5.2%. It was past $7. I think it reached like $7.40. This thing it's going to go 30, 40, 50 bucks, 60 bucks. I don't know. It's going to ride, man. So it still hasn't made its big run yet. Love Polkadot. Love Chainlink. Now, Chainlink was all the way down to like $6. It's up to $14. It went all the way up to I believe 17 in this recent run. And then it's had a little bit of a contraction, $15. And that's where I think it's been its peak. Let me see. No, $16.94. Okay, $16.94 was on December 7th. Okay, so 5 days ago, it was there. And it's going to go, my prediction, easily to the 50, 75 range. I think it's going to go over $100 personally. I think Chainlink is a monster in the making. Avalanche, I've been telling you about it for a while as Rob got in the $10 range. It's up to $37.30 right now. It was at $42 last night. So there's been a little bit of a contraction, a little bit of a correction, and then it's going to, consolidate and fly. Avalanche, that blockchain is exploding. Immutable X, God, it's made a big time run. It was at 44 cents. Been telling you about it. It's already at over $2. It's gonna grow even more. I think X is gonna be a freaking monster, but it's made a heavy run already, just in case. Mana, Decentraland, I love. It's up to 48 cents. It was all the way down to 28 cents. So it's gone up significantly, but this thing was in the $5 range. And it's got all kinds of metaverse and all kinds of stuff. These are some of the coins that I like. Besides some of the companies, besides Bitcoin and Ethereum and, some of the obvious ones that I've talked about over the years. As I tell you all the time, if you're investing and you want to make it easy for you and you're a novice, some of the coins I talked about, here's what you do. You have 100% pie, whether it's $10, $100, those of you that are super blessed, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, God bless you. I don't have that kind of money, but if you guys got that kind of money, then this is how I would do it. 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, and then 10, 10, and 10. So if you want to put 10 in Cardano and 10 in Polygon and 10 in, whatever, Atom, that's what you do. And then the next go around, when you got your other 100% pie, you put 40 in a Bitcoin, 30% in Ethereum, and then you go, 10% in H-bar this time, 10% in Polkadot, 10% in Chainlink. That's how you do it. 10% in Gala. I like Gala Games too. That's another one that's made a move. It was down to $1.50. It's up to 3 cents, so it's already doubled. And I think it could get to $1, I think, eventually, with the kind of gaming it has. So there you go, a little crypto corner for you, set off by Brooklyn Rob. Roberto Di Maria. My suggestion to all my fellow fans, shut down the TV for the next couple days unless you want to be miserable. My advice, smash the like button because Owen and Sean do a great job always. Thank you. I'm down bad today. No, you're not. You're not down. Did you sell or something? We're all, you're new. That's why. If you got in a lot earlier, you would not be down. You'd be way up, and then there's like a little bit of a correction right now. So you're new. And so just got to hang in there, and you got to – it's nothing. This little dip is nothing. Crap. This is Mickey Mouse dips. Dips were what happened a year ago and a year and a half ago when your portfolio's down 30, 40, 50, 60%. And you're going, oh my God, what do I do? I put more money in it and more money in it and more money in it. That's what I did. So anyway, hungover from that loss, perfect storm and collective loss. No single player to blame. Most of the blame should be on the coaching staff. I agree. It was, everybody contributed to the loss, dude. It was bad. Shard is in. Peter Kokoya, Joseph, the Drew, Jamesville. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get to Anthony Chang. Let's talk a little basketball. The Heat are off tonight. Tomorrow they take on the Horny Hornets. Anthony Chang and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report is next.
Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chang.
What up, dude? How you doing?
How are you?
Good?
Yeah, I covered the Heat game last night. Got done with that. Watched the fourth quarter of the Dolphins game. Rough end to the night. And actually, then I watched your post-game show until 2:30 in the morning.
You watched it? Wow.
I was working, and I'm like, let me just hear what O has to say about what happened with the Dolphins tonight. And,
it was.
I had that on.
Yeah, it was a rough one, and everybody it was one of those where everybody chipped in and said, "Hey, look, I got a bit of that loss. Yeah, me too. Let me chip in. Let me do something stupid. I'll do something stupid, and I'll do something stupid."
Yeah,
and that's kind of the way it went last night. Unfortunately, I did not watch, the Heat game last night. Good thing is they were able to at least pull it off, which is matters, right? In the end, it's kind of like what I was telling the people last night with the Titans game. I'm not here about style points. Just win the damn game. Yeah. Just win the game. It's a long, tough season. Your people are falling left and right, and the Hornets absolutely suck. But just find a way to win the damn game, dude. That's it. That's all that matters. Yeah. And last night, that's what the Heat were able to do.
Yeah, and especially when you're missing 3 starters, right? And it doesn't matter who you're facing. If you're missing 3 starters, it's not going to be easy, especially on the road. And the Hornets, you give credit to them, they shot the ball well last night. They made 17 threes. It's tough to beat a team on the road when the opponent makes 17 threes. But the Heat did that. It wasn't beautiful, like you said. They got outscored by 10 points again in the freaking fourth quarter, or whatever you want to call it. But
we don't have, we left the turds behind. The turd was going on with the Dolphins. That's what it was. The Heat said, listen, we have no use for this turd anymore. Dolphins, do you guys want it? Yeah, we'll take it. We can use it for a couple of games. Yeah. And then last night they used the turd. So it's the freaking fourth quarter, but hey, man, they came with a win. Yeah. I'd say, you're the story in the Herald of, Duncan in the middle of his redemption stuff, all that. It's awesome. It's just so fun. Last night, I'll look at his stat line: 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 5 of 9 from 3-point range overall. It's a pleasure to watch a guy that now all of a sudden he's becoming a better player. Yeah. Actually now, which is really, really cool, because now Duncan Robinson can be called a basketball player, not just a shooter.
Yeah. I mean, look at that stat line. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. That's like a stat line of a star. I'm not saying Duncan's a star, but that stat line is impressive. I think Duncan deserves
weeks ago that his contract has become a bargain now.
Yeah, it's a good contract now. Yeah. It's amazing how fast things change. But it's a credit, I think, to Duncan, because I spoke with him for this story, and he told me, I said, what bothered you the most about the outside narratives over the last few years? And he said, what bothered me the most is that people thought I had given up, that I just stopped working. I didn't care anymore. I just didn't care, and And he's like, that was the opposite of what the truth was. I stayed working. I worked to get better. Because he said it like
I never saw you or Ira.
Well,
or
not us, but I think you're talking about Twitter and
Jim
social
or
media. Yeah,
I never said that he was lazy. All I said was he was limited,
yeah.
which is what he showed us, that he was just a shooter. That's it. I don't remember. Wow, maybe that's kind of those Jordan things that he made shit up to, like.
Or maybe he just saw a few people on Twitter mentioning that.
I don't remember a lot of people ever saying Duncan Robinson is lazy and refuses to work and get better. I think everybody just said, yeah, Duncan's a great shooter, but it.
It is what it is. Yeah.
That's it. That's all they ever said. It's strange. But
he
whatever motivates.
He brought that up. Whatever works, right? He brought that up and he said, it was the opposite because I worked even hard. I stayed with my routine and he's like, that was arguably one of the proudest I've been of myself, of like continuing the behind the scenes work, even though I wasn't playing. It's easy to do that work when you're getting 30 minutes a night. It's harder to do that work when you don't know if you're going to play from night to night. Right. And it's evident that he did get better. I mean, it's clear. He's one of the most improved players in the NBA. He's a different guy. The way he could drive into the paint, pass, obviously still hitting his threes. He's a better defender. He's never going to be a great defender, but he holds his own on defense now. He's not like a big liability on that end of the court like he was in past years. So that is, along with Jaime, I think Jaime and Duncan, they have probably been the biggest upgrades on this team so far. Just getting those two guys, Duncan now into a bigger role, and Jaime, who obviously wasn't the team last year, getting those two guys in the way they're playing right now, that's part of the reason you're optimistic, right, of what this team can be when they're healthy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's and Caleb now is turning the corner now. Now we're getting the Caleb Martin that we're kind of used to. Last night, 7 of 14, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. The last, I want to say, Anthony, 4 games, it's kind of been the Caleb that we've all kind of, we're used to, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so this team, once, I don't know if they could stay fully healthy because it's hard to do that in any team, but if you get a little bit more healthier here and you get out of bio back and everything, I just think this.
I lost you, Big O. I can't hear you right now.
Let me check Anthony.
There, Sean?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hold on a minute.
No worries.
Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Okay, now I got you back. Yeah.
Internet. Yes. It is what it is. All right. So last 4 or 5 games, it looks like we're getting that Caleb back. And then the twisted part about it is, and it's the good thing is that right now you're 13-10, right? Is it 13-10 or
13-10? Yeah.
13-10. I think you're going to be a better team as the season goes on. And I think there's a chance they'll be able to add something too in the trading deadline when it comes to a ball handler or something along those lines. I think they'll have an opportunity. By the way, have you done any homework on that and getting better? Is there something in Europe that's going to become free later on?
In Europe?
Yeah. Later on when their season is done.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, honestly, my thinking is like when this team is healthy, and that's a big one. It's a big if, like you said. This team never seems to be healthy for whatever reason. I don't know if they even need anything per se. Yes, you would love to have you would love to have another star. That yes, but I'm saying like, do they need another role player? I don't even think they need that at this point. If they're healthy, I know the ball handling, it's a concern, but they've proven, even with Tyler out, they've been able to do just fine on offense, and when Tyler comes back, he's another ball handler. So whenever they get close to full health, they have the depth that I don't think they even need to make a change around the edges. Because I think depth is a strength. And I think they have enough guys where if they are healthy, it's going to create some tough decisions for Spo. Because
I get it. I just would like an insurance policy for Lowry.
Sure. Yeah,
know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
the names that always come up are Goron, Kendrick Nunn, George Hill. Those names, but I don't know. I mean, yes, with
No,
Drew Smith hurt, it's tough.
yeah.
It's tough. That kills your depth at guard because Drew Smith was a nice depth piece for them at the guard spot. He did what he was supposed to do. Was solid, took care of the ball, played good defense. So yeah, another guard would be helpful. I mean, Jamari Bouye is another one that's on their G League team right now. That maybe if you need somebody, if Kyle's hurt for a couple games, maybe you sign him to a non-guaranteed contract. That's another name. But again, I don't. If they can get healthy, I don't know if they really need another piece.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's interesting. How has Jaquez held up? Another good game for him. How's he feeling physically? Taking on because he's already played 23 games, so he's that body of his. He's going to be hitting that wall in another month or two, and then you're he's not going to be used to playing 82 games. So I'm wondering how he's holding up because by the way, another positive is if you grab some kid that's a one and done, boy, his body is really not ready for this. But that is a positive that he's a 4-year guy and his body's a little bit more developed. So he might be able to last a little bit more. But that is one thing that I am a little concerned about with Jaquez down the line that, he's only human. You know what I'm saying? So the wear and tear, because he goes all out. That's what I love.
Yeah. Yeah. And he plays big minutes most of the time. And he's the only guy I think in the roster who's played in each of the first 23 games. So that's a credit to him that he's been durable. He's stayed healthy. And it's going to be an adjustment for him. I mean, he's never played this long of a season. I've talked to him before, like just around the locker room, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy how fast the games come. Like one night we're here, one night we're over there. So he's handled it well so far. As Eric Spoelstra says, for rookies, things aren't linear. There's going to be ups and downs. I'm sure there'll be a week where it looks like he has hit a wall. It's going to happen. It's natural. But so far, so good. He's been durable. He's been available every game. And for the most part, there haven't really been many bad games for him. He's had a positive impact most nights.
Yeah, he's been so amazing, dude. He is.
Yeah.
Where is he in the rookie of the year race? Because I can't say I follow and know everything.
Yeah.
I know the women stuff and all that, but all they do is freaking lose, dude.
Yeah, I would think the favorite right now, and probably is his award to lose, is Chet Holmgren, who is considered a rookie because he didn't play last year, even though it's not really his first year. But Oklahoma City is really good. He's having a really good season. He's probably going to get it. But Jaime while he probably won't get it because Chet's playing so well, I mean, he was just named Eastern Conference Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Month. So he's been the best rookie in the East. He's going to – so, in that voting, he's going to be up there. He'll be third, fourth maybe. And for the 18th pick in the draft, for a guy we didn't expect really to be at the top of the list, to be that high and receive consideration for an award like that, I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Although I got a buddy of mine that works the Pac-12 for Sirius, and he was like, that guy's going to be the rookie of the year. I watched. He swore by him because he watches him all the time. He's not far off, and he loved him from the get-go. And he told me, "No, dude, that guy's going to be awesome. You're going to see he's going to be a star for you guys." And he has been absolutely on target about that. Hey, one more thing. I'll let you go with this. And I'm going to say something controversial, but if I'm going to hold it against Belichick, and I'm going to say, yeah, dude, sure you're the GOAT. You got 6 titles. Yeah, you won it all with Brady. What are you doing without Brady? Do something without Brady. And you can't do shit without Brady. Eric Spoelstra is better than Greg Popovich, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I'm freaking sorry, bro. But I mean, Popovich can win titles with a bunch of studs. He can't do anything without those studs. That guy can't even make the playoffs, man, pretty much.
Yeah.
I watch Eric Spoelstra do all kinds of shit without the big 3 and get to the finals multiple times, get to the Eastern Conference finals a whole ton of times, overachieve with team after team after team. And I'm sorry if it's, controversial, but, and I'm sorry for everybody in San Antonio or all the tight asses around the NBA. The laziest thing to do is call somebody the GOAT simply because they have a bunch of titles. And if they did it with one era and they never showed me anything else, like at least with Don Shula, I saw him go to the Super Bowl with Unitas, with Greasy, with Woodstock, with Marino. Okay, he didn't win them all, but I saw him with different teams achieve a lot overall. That, to me, is GOATness, is greatness. It's Joe Gibbs winning 3 titles with 3 different quarterbacks, none of them Hall of Famers. That's GOATness. That's greatness. You know what I'm saying? And the next time, which it's going to happen, that guy wins a title, and I'm talking about Eric Spoelstra.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but the GOAT label is going to go on him, not on Popovich, because I am way more impressed with Eric Spoelstra's resume than I am with Greg Popovich.
I think Eric Spoelstra is
all's in your court.
Yeah, I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA right now. And I think when you see the GM survey every year, I think 3 of the last 4 years, maybe 4 straight years, he's been voted as the best head coach in the NBA. So
overall,
I don't even
Popovich,
overall
you take it.
Yeah, right now I would take Spo.
Anytime.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I think what sets.
Yeah, who do you want? I got to give you the same team. Who's going to get the best out of that team, Spo or Popovich?
I think I would go with Spo just because I've seen it up close, and Spo has done it, like you said, with different styles, different eras, different rosters. And yes, you could say, well, he's never won a championship without without LeBron. He's never won a championship without LeBron. People will say that, but he's gone to the finals 2 more times. Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. I mean, even like arguably one of the most impressive seasons he had as a coach was one where the team finished 500.
Yep.
2016-17, they start 11-30 with that team with Deion Waiters, James Johnson, Wayne Ellington, Hassan Whiteside.
Crap.
A lot of journeymen. Goran Dragic was on that team. Goran was probably the best player. Goran was the best player on the team. I guess Hassan at that point was too. And 11-30.
Literally made chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah, 11-30, and then 30-11 to get to 500.
Literally, what nobody does in any sport. Eric Spoelstra made chicken salad out of chicken shit. That is impressive, dude. I
think he identifies. It takes him maybe a month or 2, but as the season goes on, you see that he identifies what a team needs to win, what they need to emphasize, how they need to win, how they need to play, and he kind of adjusts his scheme based on that. And he does it even in season, like now with all the injuries, he'd have kind of changed the way they play a little bit to make it work for the guys they have available right now, whether that's forcing turnovers, taking more threes, playing more zone. He seems to be able to tweak on the fly based on the personnel he has, which I think is one of his biggest strengths, and that makes him different than a lot of other coaches.
He is freaking awesome. All right, follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. And make sure you subscribe to the Miami Herald because he kicks some serious ass. Anthony, as always, thank you, my brother. Great job on the Duncan story. We will catch up later on in the week.
Thanks, Big O. Have a good week.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great Anthony Chang always coming through for us, and we appreciate that. In 20 minutes, it'll be Cameron Wolf. We'll stop by, and we will talk a little Miami Dolphins football with that gentleman. That's your BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report. And Baptist Health is the official sports medicine provider for the Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, FIU, FAU, Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon and half marathons, amongst others. The staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is comprised of highly specialized, board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic physicians, supported by advanced practice providers and athletic trainers, all of whom play a vital role in the patient's experience. And folks, we have locations from Monroe County to Palm Beach County. BaptistHealth.net/ortho.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
Right. Thank you all. Tua needs to focus more in football and less on his hair. Offense needs to focus more on productivity on the field and less on celebration, because that will be the only celebrating Miami will do. Murphy, can you get any more cliche-ish? Were you worried about the hair? Because the hair stuff's been going on for weeks and they were winning. The dancing's been going on for years and they're winning. So you only bring it out after a loss? I'm not sure what the dancing has to do with the head coach not wanting to run the ball. I'm not sure what it has to do with dancing and a Chan slows down on a beautiful bomb. Not sure what dancing has to do, or hair has to do, when a Chan is open right there in the flats and Tua throws it 4 feet above him. Not sure what dancing has to do when Waddle runs 2 wrong routes. And by the way, Waddle's been dropping balls every week. This week he didn't drop any, but he ran 2 wrong routes. And that's been going on the entire time. Dancing or no dancing, Waddle drops passes. It's kind of his thing, you know? So you can start to point at those things, but it was just a game where everything went wrong and all of them just contributed to the loss by doing a lot of bad shit, unfortunately. Don't make things more than what they are, okay? It was a bad loss, and that's all it is. And by the way, it's the NFL season. You're going to have them. You know? It happens. You're not going to run the table, and you're not going to win all the games, and you're not going to be perfect. And they sucked last night. And they gave Tennessee every opportunity, and Tennessee took advantage of it. Remember, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. EJ Barro, thank you for the love on the super chat. Oh, the other side of the looking glass, the Titans are the first NFL team ever to be down 14 points with less than 2:55 left and win without overtime. Yeah, it was, what was it, 676 games since the last team gave up a 14-point lead with less than 3 minutes left. So, yeah, it was not good. It was not good. Let's see. What else do we have? Greer put that pathetic injury-prone line in place, whereas a $20 million man, Armstead, Connor had an injury history in Dallas. Connor doesn't have an injury history, bro. Connor is all right. He wasn't missing a ton of games. He's been pretty durable, and it's a freakish injury. The Armstead injury, you have Lamb, so that covers up for it every single time now. You knew he was injury prone. It's just bad luck with Rob Hunt, bad luck last year with Austin Jackson, bad luck with who's the other one that got injured? Wynn. It's bad luck, dude. Whatever. Again, you know, a guy like that those are the kind of people that's the kind of guy that completely folds the tent when there's, you know, some negativity. So some of you probably have a hard time keeping your cool in certain situations. I can tell you're probably a bunch of panic queens. Romel Valverde is back with a super chat. Be honest, and with all due respect, Big O, was last night a bad game or bad sign for the Dolphins? Bad game, bro. Well, Romel, bro, you are Mr. Panic. That's it, my man. You're Mr. Panic. You're already panicking. Look at your 2 texts that you sent me. It's all Panic City, talking about what everybody else is talking about, right? Or the negative people that want to talk about it. And then you want to look at that it's, you know, bad sign for the Dolphins. Why? Because they lost one time this season to a bad team. I mean, if you look at it, more often than not, you're going to end up getting tripped up by a bad team throughout the season, even if you're a good team. You're going to have your night where just, do you think that a Chan really wanted to slow down, or was that he didn't measure it right and Boom, that's it. It's over. You think Tua wants to overthrow a Chan? I don't know. Do you think Chubb wants to make a stupid play? I'm not sure. Do you? I mean, is that what you think? You know, whatever gets you going, my brother. You know, however you feel. But clearly, you're in panic mode. But I appreciate the super chat. Cash App or Venmo, we get 100% of the donation on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And then, of course, we appreciate the super chats, but YouTube likes to take 30% away from those super chats. Let's see. Cash App or Venmo. Let me see if we got any Cash Apps or Venmos coming in. Yes, we do. And Peter German, once again, last night he was very active. Thank you again. Very generous, Peter. Big O, long night, lots of time to think. My suggestion for McDaniel is he needs 2 play sheets, one for Tyreek and passing, the other for running back Cedric game plan without him. He certainly needs to improve because what he's doing ain't working, bro. You know? McDaniel, I don't know what it is about him in the running game. Oh, no, man. It's the weirdest thing. McDaniel's 3-8 in prime time, says Christian DiMartino on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Christian. Instead of running the ball inside the 10, we're throwing fades to Tyreek, who is banged up. Play coming in too slow, burning timeouts again. Yeah. Yep, you are correct. There's no other way to put it, dude. You know? John Geeb, Cash App or Venmo. Here's on Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Thank you, John. Honestly, no one is ever happy with the loss, but people like to dismiss the fact that this is the NFL, professionals at the highest level. It's bound to happen, unfortunately. Our team crumbled last night when it mattered. It is what it is. Yeah, that's it. That's all. And I'm not going to make it more than what it is because it's only one game. They're 9-4. Okay? Now, if they lose the next 4, yeah, we got plenty to talk about. But if they go and beat the Jets and then they go and beat Baltimore, you know, you're going to forget completely about the Titans game. Some of you act like you belong in this undefeated mode or something. You make it sound like the Dolphins are beyond approach. It's exactly what this gentleman just said right now. This is the NFL. John Geeb is right. Every good teams get tripped up by bad teams all the time. That was something that we were luckily on a roll with. They were actually taking care of the bad teams. And their problem was kind of tweaking what was going on with the good teams. And I still think this is a very good team. Now, they do need to get healthier on the offensive line. Okay. And left tackle wasn't really, even with Armstead out, the Kendall Lamb thing has been a blessing in disguise. But, you know, I'll give you something. The Eichenberg, I understand that a lot of you are disappointed with Eichenberg. I guarantee you this. He'll play a lot better this week now that because again, he was practicing a guard, and then all of a sudden you throw him in center, and he's not really practicing the center spot. And now, you know, he's in the middle of the game, and you have the bad snap. He had also a high snap. He had a couple penalties. I get it. He didn't have a great game. I think he'll be fine this week, actually. With a week of practice, Eichenberg becomes a better player at that position. I think he'll do a better job overall. But, you know, they need to get Rob Hunt back. The Isaiah Wynn injury was brutal. Lester Cotton had a bad penalty. You know, it was just, I don't know, man. It was a rough night. There were so many people that contributed to that loss. It was ridiculous. Yes, sir.
Joe Shad sends out a stat.
Yes.
Is the Dolphins are number 1 in the NFL in rushing yards per play and number 2 in total rushing yards. The Dolphins are number 13 in the NFL in rush attempts.
And then I had some guys, yesterday because there was towards the end of the half, there was a drive where they had 9, 11, and 4, or 10, or 11 and 4 yards rushing. And then he started getting cute and started passing and ruined the drive. And I said, there he goes again. And then, fans are late. Some of you fans are lazy, right? So some guy goes to me, hey, but they've run more than they've passed. What game are you watching? And it's like, yo, dude, don't look at the overall stats. Look at what the situation was right there and then. You were running, and all of a sudden you stopped and you started getting cute and passing. And from that point on, he started getting cute, and he kept passing more than he should have, and he ended up losing the game. Mike McDaniel is a genius offensive mind who is a mediocre play caller on game day. Okay? Genius offensive mind, mediocre play caller on game day. And it's only because he refuses to stick to a successful running game. As I said last night, when Shula and Marino would abandon the running game, we understood. Now, even in those moments when it would work, we would get a little frustrated. Like, yo, why didn't Shula just give the ball there? Or Marino, why didn't he give the ball? They actually ran the ball a couple of times. And we're talking about a little spurt inside a quarter in one drive that it worked a couple of times. It's like, yo, dude, Higgs, Davenport, Nathan, whatever. It worked a couple. Keep it going there a couple of times. Make life a little easier for you, Marino. And they would abandon it. But you kind of understood because Marino's gun was so special in the passing game and all that. Here, dude, your running game is actually what Marino never had. It's what it's the reason why Marino never won a title, because he never had a running game like this. He never even had a defense, even though they played like shit yesterday. But this defense is better than anything Marino's had. So we understood that. We got it. This one we don't get. You young people, you have no idea, but those of us that lived it, we understood when you abandoned that running game. No one is understanding Mike McDaniel abandoning this running game, because this is the kind of running game that wins you a championship, because your quarterback, whoever it is, your passing game is way better when you're able to punish people. And I'm not sure why it's so hard for Mike McDaniel to understand that. San Francisco is not shy about running the football. And they will run and run and run. I don't understand why Mike McDaniel has some kind of ego that makes him think, even with an injured Tyreek, and by the way, fades to Tyreek. You know how perfect your quarterback has to be to hit a midget in the end zone? I get it. Tua haters, you morons. You have no idea, so you'll just use it as a negative to Tua, but that's really an indictment on McDaniel. That's a coach putting your quarterback and your receiver in a position to fail. Cedric Wilson has high-pointed balls already. He makes plays for you. You refuse to use him. Chase Claypool is there. You can't figure out a package for the guy. Mike McDaniel, genius mind, mediocre play caller. Mediocre game day play caller. Okay? Because he just doesn't want to stick to the run. And he constantly puts his quarterback in the worst positions. Tua Tagovailoa has the hardest tree to pass in the entire NFL, because this guy refuses to run and continues to take too many chances downfield. And so he forces his quarterback, who is throwing all kinds of tight windows that he shouldn't have to, because he can run the hell out of the football and force linebackers into the box. But if you're not going to force linebackers into the box and you're going to allow them to drift into coverage, then that becomes harder for your quarterback. But for you Tua haters, it's all good. That's good material for you because you're too stupid to figure that shit out. Just like the offensive linemen. It's great you have backups, but what really saves your ass is that Tua gets rid of the ball quickly. But the problem is now with your backup quarterbacks, you don't have time to get to your second and third. It's just over. And then there's Tua scrambling and it's over. But it's great for Tua haters because you're too stupid to figure that out. Because you're too focused on your Tua hate. So Mike McDaniel needs to grow the hell up as a play caller. Okay? He has a running game that works. And it's got to be catastrophically stupid to not use a running game that works. And he did this last year, least amount of attempts. He did it in key games. And then he comes to the podium and he tells us that he was wrong and he apologizes to Mostert and all that. And he continues to do the same shit over and over and over again. The coaches were the biggest problem last night. Mike McDaniel, number one, and to a lesser extent, Vic Fangio. Not the players. Players all screwed up all over the place. But those coaches failed to put their players in positions to be successful. Okay? Bad job by Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel deserves a shit ton of criticism. He's got to grow up a lot faster. This is late into year 2. You can't keep making the same stupid ass mistake. And he continues to make the same stupid ass mistake. For a smart guy, that's frustrating. Edward Thurston Howe, thank you for the love on the super chat. Shame on McDaniel for not playing the 2 C's last night, Craycraft and Claypool. Stop shuffling in injured players, bring in recently retired offensive linemen also. Well, what can I tell you? Can't argue with any of that. Play call was just ridiculous. Peter German, once again last night, and I appreciate the Venmo again, Peter. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Last night was a 2 Perdomo cigar night, 1 for each eye. Also, what do you think about the idea of hiring an offensive coordinator for next year? Let's see how this year finishes. That's an interesting one. That's a very interesting one. But the problem is Mario Cristobal. Doesn't matter who you hire. You're still going to be influenced by the guy on top. So you can hire some spread guy like did, but you still have conservative Mario Cristobal telling him what to do. And he's still going to coach to appease his conservative coach. So, I don't know. John Geeb, thank you for the love on Venmo also. I'd also like to add our O-line will be fine if we can get healthy at the right time, hopefully. But our run game is still built to win playoff games. We just need our coach to start finding his passion for running the ball because our run game is top tier when they actually run. I agree. I mean, I can't argue with anything that you guys are saying there at all. Can't argue with it at all. Ho Yoon, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you on Venmo, Cash App, or Venmo. Have a great week, Big O. Thank you, Ho Yoon, as always. Appreciate your loyalty to the show, man. Thank you out there. Very kind of you, sir. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. And, of course, you can send in a little Bitcoin, which, that's our favorite kind of donation. A little Bitcoin donation. The Dolphins will win the division. I am going to stay with you on that one. I believe they will win the division, yes. Brian Diaz, thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. Your opinion on why Jeff Wilson's not playing in widescreen pass to Tyreek. Bad decisions. Not a dedicated. He just doesn't dedicate enough to the running game. And Jeff Wilson's one of those guys that you want to pound him with. So what are you going to do? You know what you're going to do? You're going to unleash the wolf pack to start hour number 2.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Oh, I don't hear you.
I hear you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just me, but I can't hear you.
Your mic's not on, oh. It's not.
Oh, now it's good when you got to turn on the mic. It's that really helps out, actually. Just so you'll know, turn on the mic, Cam, when you do things, okay?
Hey, trust me. I have my fair share. I call them user errors, where I'm like, what's going on? Like, why can't I hear you? Why can't I? Oh, push the on button.
Yeah. So my dumbass didn't turn on the mic there. So yes, apologies there on that one. So I think Joe Shad, somebody just told me, tweeted out that the Dolphins number 1 in the league in rushing yards, in rushing average, but 13th in attempts. And this was the same bullshit last year that you had a great average. The problem was your attempts. You apologized to Mostert. You talked about it publicly, all that bullshit. Same shit is happening all over again. Mike McDaniel refuses to use a very good running game on a consistent basis. And I don't understand. And the stupid excuse, by the way, a lot of stupidity going on here. When you call play and it doesn't work, it's a bad play. No, at one point or another, we have to just say you're continually making bad decisions. It's not that it didn't work. It's that you're not doing the right things. So what is it with Mike McDaniel and the running game, bro? Why is he allergic to it?
I think there's a fascination, which I understand to an extent, but with just getting Tyreek and Tua and the flow of the passing game. And I wonder for this particular game in particular, how much of this was you look at this Titans team. They were 31st in the league in passing defense. They were top 5 in the league in run defense. And you say the numbers say we beat this team in the air, right? Which that's probably true. I thought that was the case going in the game. But at some point, whatever the Titans did, they had a good game plan for the pass. You adjust. And I did not see that adjustment as far as the consistency of the run the way I would have liked to see it.
and
Huh?
you were succeeding. You were
Right.
running the ball on them early on. It was a 6. When he had the 9, the 10, 11, and the 4-yard run, and then got cute towards the end of the half, and ruined that drive. You were averaging 6.7 yards per carry on the team that you're not supposed to run on.
Right.
So here's what I grew up with and what people taught me. The more you run, the easier it is to pass. So, keep it simple, stupid. It's all about KISS. And Mike McDaniel, for such a smart guy, is incredibly stupid. If you want to get to your pass, brother, run the shit out of the ball. And you'll bring all your linebackers in. You're going to open up the middle of the field. You're going to be able to throw, because all of a sudden, if you keep hammering and hammering and hammering, they all get sucked in, and then that's when you hit them over the top. I don't understand why he doesn't have that patience.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think a part of it was their scheme coming in and the fascination of getting the ball to Tyreek Hill. But you're right. The results should change that. You have Raheem Mostert, you have Achane. And the reality for me, at least, the offensive line was extremely banged up. They were struggling to pass protect. To me, those are the games where you say, we just got to get out of it. It may not be pretty. Tua may not throw for 300 yards. It may not help his MVP, quote unquote, case. It may not help Tyreek get for 200,000 yards, but it helps us get out of this game and get the win, right? And so sometimes I think that's the decision that has to happen. And even if it's ugly, even if we, it shortens the game, which would help them not allow the Titans to come back. And it also allows you to do what's working. And so this was definitely a game I think they should have leaned on the run more. And it cost them too often in this game. And like I said, I'm going to ask Mike. I'm going up to the facility in a couple hours, and maybe he gives me an answer, maybe he doesn't. But too much of this game, it kind of felt like the Dolphins were like, we can get away with this because we're playing the Titans.
He's not gonna.
Like the fact that we're, Tyreek Hill was standing on the sideline and then all of a sudden he runs out. It kind of felt like we can get away with not having Tyreek in, keep him on the sidelines and get him for the Jets game. And then halfway through the third quarter, like, oh crap, we might actually lose. We need him. Go back in there. You have Teron Armstead and Javon Holland inactive. Could those guys have gone? Or was this a situation where we're being, like they've been much of the season, careful and saying, hey, we're willing to hold them out and get them back later in the season? Like, it just seemed like a lot of the decision making, the play calling, everything was on the basis of let's just get out.
So basically, you're saying that Mike McDaniel is not a very good coach, apparently.
No, I would never say that, because I think he is a really good coach. But I can tell you this. I did think that he got outcoached by Mike Vrabel yesterday.
He's not a very good coach. Not yet. He hasn't earned that right yet.
I think that he has. I think he has.
No, he
I don't think that he's proven that he's I don't think that he's proven that he can win playoff games yet. But I would say I've seen enough that Mike McDaniel is a good coach. Huh?
He ain't no Mike Vrabel. That's a good coach.
Mike Vrabel has more playoff wins and more experience, for sure.
Exactly.
And I will tell you what,
you don't get that
by Mike Vrabel yesterday, for sure.
You don't get that label until you can outcoach Mike Vrabel and until you can win playoff games. He's 3-8 in primetime games now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's no excuses anymore for Mike McDaniel, dude. You know what I'm saying? And he continues to make stupid decisions with the running game. He is a brilliant offensive mind, a mediocre game day coach. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just because he can out scheme you at times with fast guys, at times you have to show me who you are, Eric Spoelstra. And so when you don't have what you need to work with, I need you to overcome and figure it out. And you can't do that. You keep throwing fades to Oompa Loompas when Cedric Wilson has already shown you that he can high point the ball, and you can't even use him in those situations last night. And then you've got Chase Claypool, and you can't figure out a small package to use that tall body to help out Tua. Instead, you've got an Oompa Loompa quarterback throwing to an Oompa Loompa receiver for fade patterns in the end zone. Now you're making it harder on your quarterback and harder on your receiver and harder on your team. It's terrible coaching, my man. So we can't, you can't earn that label until you win something significant. And Mike McDaniel has won nothing so far, except a bunch of yards and points. He really hasn't won anything significant.
Yeah,
right?
I think that it's very fair to question Mike McDaniel. Like, for as much as praise he gets, you've got to get some criticism when there's elements of your coaching style that have not translated. And whether people consider it an unfair knock or not, the reality is when big moments have shown up, either against elite teams or in primetime settings, the Dolphins have shown a consistency not to show up.
Right.
And that typically lays on the coaching. I was in the locker room after the game, and you hear Bradley Chubb talk about, we were aware of the playoff scenarios and what could happen if we, this happens in the season. And he said, human nature, the reality is we're on cruise control. And it was like abrupt, like, wait, what? First of all, because he was incredibly honest. I don't think players are usually that honest, but the fact that, you're looking about, a number one seed, and I don't think the Dolphins have done enough to overlook anyone. If anything, they should be proving to people that we're for real rather than look for, because that's what the criticism's been, right? That you're a paper tiger. And so this does not help those claims. The fact that you say we took the foot off the gas with 3 minutes left,
yeah, you're a nobody. You're a nobody. The Dolphins are nobodies.
Because I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, and I will. I talked about this on NFL Network just a little bit ago. I was on for Insider Show, and we talked about this game I was at last night. And I said, there's going to be a lot of people on these Monday or Tuesday morning shows who are going to panic and say, the season's over. This is an example why this team's not going to do anything. This is why they're pretenders, right? And I won't go that far. I still think they're a playoff team. I still think that they are going to win a division. Will they win a playoff game or two? I'm not sure. That's going to be up to them. But I will say this. That's all to say. I'm not panicking. But I will say this. Hearing what I heard in the locker room was a concern. Seeing how the offense functioned when Tyreek was not there, just kind of everybody out of place. The communication was off. It just seemed like this team did not know how to function without him was a concern because he's been banged up this year. If you lose him, does that mean your season's over? It seemed like it last night. And the third concern, and this might be the biggest one, that offensive line who has been held up by paper mache essentially for the season of just entering this guy and Butch Berry's going to do a miracle here and this guy does this and this guy fills in. It's finally starting to show some cracks of these injuries. Last night, 5 sacks, Tua pressured on nearly 40% of his snaps, and they're down essentially 4 starting offensive linemen. Teron was out. You got Robert Hunt out. You lose Connor Williams to the injury. We're going to be eager to see what his injury status is. It didn't look great. And if that's a season-ending injury, now you've lost another offensive lineman for the year. Isaiah Wynn's already out. Now you lose Connor Williams, and then you got Teron and Robert Hunt, who will be back, but are right now out. And so that's a major concern. It's hard to keep things afloat when you lose 4 offensive linemen. And so those 3 concerns pop up on my radar, especially as the schedule gets tougher. You got a Jets team this week, which, say what you want about the Jets and their offense, they came off a 30-6 win over the Texans, and they seem to have some sort of resurgence, and that defense is always tough. Then you got the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. All 3 teams, Cowboys and the Ravens, 2 of the best in the league. And the Bills are probably going to be competing for a playoff spot. And if you don't handle your business, they might be competing for your division spot.
Right.
And so that's a very dangerous end of the season stretch to have all of those issues I just mentioned. And so I'm not panicking on the Titans' loss as a whole. But I am worried about what's ahead, and the difficulty has increased tenfold.
What I would like for you to ask Mike McDaniel, okay, is last year you had a very high average. Your running backs were over 4.5 yards a carry, yet you were the bottom of the league in attempts. This year, once again, you're at the top of the league at average. You're at the top of the league at rushing totals, but you're in the middle of the pack again for attempts. What is it? Why is it that you apologized to Mostert last year? You said you didn't run enough. Why have you not used more of the strength of your team? Because clearly the passing game doesn't get you through in the tight moments. So why not lean on the run more? Why is it that he will not lean on the run? I know you can't ask if that long, but that's what needs to be asked, because that's what's making him be a mediocre game day coach, is that he what the food that he has on the table to create a meal, he is creating the wrong meal. He's using the food the wrong way, and he's not complimenting his quarterback. He's not complimenting his team. You know what I mean? It's just like what I told you. Fade patterns to an injured Tyreek Hill is even dumber than just fade patterns to Tyreek when you have Chase Claypool there and you have a Cedric Wilson, who you can teach those two guys just a couple of routes for fade patterns. They can learn that, dude, and you refuse to do it. It's just the coaching decisions have to be questioned now, and especially the run game, because as you said, you're struggling to pass block and you continue to pass. Where does that make any sense? Because your backups actually still do a solid job running the ball. Liam Eichenberg made some mistakes yesterday, but go watch some of his blocking in some of those runs. He actually put some really good blocks in there. So I actually think Liam Eichenberg will play fine next week because he'll get a week of practice and all that. It was one of those things that he got thrown into the fire again after practicing a guard so much. And then it's just kind of hard, man. You know what I'm saying? So I bet you this week he'll play better. But again, help those guys. Help them hit people instead of them taking hits and figuring out where all the stunts and everything is coming from. Compliment your team more as a play caller. I don't think he does that.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some questions for Mike, right? And he's a second-year coach. There's still some for him to learn. And I think a lot of times we get obsessed with what he does right, that you avoid the fact that he does make mistakes. Like, he's not a flawless coach, right? There's none that is, but because he's such a fun coach, we enjoy being around him. He's entertaining and he's smart, and he has a very good offense. It's easy to be blinded on some issues, right? And they've had issues throughout the season. They've had issues with short yardage, 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, running the ball in those situations. They have issues with infrequency of how often they want to run. Some games they run the ball 30, 35 times and they have a lot of success. And sometimes it's just not flowing the way they want. And then they have questions about how they handle on the road in particular against those top teams. This one obviously was at home, but on the road, like, these are questions that are essentially coaching questions. How do you get your team ready for those short yardage situations, for those situations where you control your amount of pass run balance, and situations where you're playing tough teams on the road? Those are tough challenges. Like, this one to me felt different because they were heavy favorites at home and they've won every one of those games this year. This was to me, their first bad loss of the season. The other losses, you could say, hey, they're playing, the Chiefs, a Bills team who at that time looked like they were.
That was a bad loss. That was a bad loss.
I don't think the Bills in Buffalo is a bad loss. I think at that time,
28 points?
Yeah, I don't think that was a bad loss. I don't think it was a bad loss. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad loss like they played poorly. I'm just saying, like, I'm calling a bad loss like there's no way you should have lost that game type.
I get it.
Like, that to me is a bad loss. Like, the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. Like, one of those games, like, how? You're like, what? This is one of those games for the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins lost to the Titans. You're like, how? What?
Right.
Like, every team has had one of those losses. The Eagles lost,
Jets, Chiefs.
Yeah, Jets, Chiefs, right? The Jets, Eagles, Jets, right? The Jets have got a couple teams that way, right? So it's those quote unquote losses where these teams that are clearly inferior record wise and talent wise beat you. That's what I consider a bad loss. And to me, this was the first one the Dolphins had where, like, there's no reason y'all should have lost to the Titans. And so I excuse them because I think every team can have one bad loss. It's just how you respond. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, their last 4 games are their most challenging stretch of games in the season. And so it does not give them some soft landing spot to bounce back.
What'd you think of Vic Fangio? Because I thought down the stretch he failed his team. He allowed Will Levis just to pick him apart, and he didn't pressure. He didn't send extra guys. And I understand, we've talked about this since the offseason, his team is not predicated on a lot of blitzing. I get that, but there was a time and a place to do some things. And last night I would have liked to have seen some extra pressure to try not just allow him to sit there. I saw it. He had a cigar. It had a 3-inch ash. And I saw Hopkins and a Walker run across the field, which takes him about 9 seconds. And then Will was able to put away the cigar and complete the pass. And there was no pass rush. So he had a lot of time back there to smoke cigars and everything, and no pass rush. What'd you think of Fangio towards the end of that game?
Yeah, I think the fourth quarter was definitely different than the first 3 quarters. I say the first 3 quarters, they actually played pretty well defensively. They got pressure. They didn't get sacks. Like, obviously, the Bradley Chubb missed sack that led to slamming of the helmet, led to 4 extra points. They hit him. That hit him. And a lot of Bradley's frustrations were, we were right there, and I should have got you down, right? Fourth quarter, it was different. It seemed like they ran a lot of 3- and 4-man rushes, and they just did not get home, which the reality is, and the Titans probably would tell you this too, their offensive line has been pretty bad. Like, they've been one of the worst offensive lines of football. They're playing a couple of rookies in that spot. And so that was a battle I thought the Dolphins would win. And to walk away with just, the little production they had, I think they had 1 sack maybe, and no pressure on that last 2 drives. I think he might have been pressured 1 time in 2 drives. And he just seemed at ease. Like, you got a rookie quarterback down 14, you're supposed to make him panic. And he just seemed like he was Tom Brady in that moment, just picking it through with no worry in the world. And so, to me, that's on Vic. I know a lot of times he doesn't like the blitz. That's not his philosophy. I get it. But to me, there's certain situations your job is to adjust to your situation. And there are situations they got a rookie quarterback who's only dropping back to pass. You've got to figure out something to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, and by the way, he's got a little something to him. So he's got some ups.
Yeah, you thought he was Derrick Henry in the first half, trying to run people over every chance he got.
He's a tough son of a bitch because he took a pounding in that first half.
Yes,
and he easily could have folded the tent. And that kid was fearless the entire time. I give him a lot of credit. They got something there. I don't know if he'll turn into it, but there's something to work with there. He's got plenty of quarterback characteristics that you can build on, and toughness is definitely there for Will Levis. I got respect for him yesterday. That was strong. The Tua haters are going to be out in full force, even though this was a thorough team loss, because boy, everybody contributed to the whole thing. But the Tua haters are going to have some ammo, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be at the front of his MVP resume. This was not one of Tua's better games. You got to call it what it is. He did not play his best. Is he the reason they lost this game? No. There was other reasons, but Tua did not play his best game. And the reality is, it opened a lot of eyes in that 2 periods where they didn't have Tyreek, just how out of sorts the offense was. Waddle didn't seem to be in the right spot for a route. Cedric Wilson didn't seem to know where to line up. And to me, that's on the quarterback. The quarterback's got to get the other guys ready when their guy is out. And so Tua's going to get some blame this week, and I think he should get some, but I think it's all relative. I think that, like you said, Tua's not the biggest issue of this game. And I think there's a bigger onus on the coaching, the readiness, and ultimately the defense giving up those two scores in 3 minutes.
Yep, I'm with you there. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his exceptional work there at the NFL Network. Cam, we will catch up on Friday, my friend. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Sounds good. All right, man.
You got it. Cameron Wolf, baby. KSDT CPAs. Use that QR code, man. We're coming towards the end of the year. You got to get those taxes prepared for April, the business taxes, all of that. Reach out to our friends at KSDT CPAs. They will handle your business taxes, your personal taxes. And it really, by the way, it doesn't matter where you live because you can do all of that by phone. So call them 305-670-3370. They're also hiring. Seems like every company in this country pretty much is hiring. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. They've got offices all throughout South Florida, and they opened up a new office in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if we got any listeners out there in Charlotte, North Carolina, or in South Florida, and you've got them accounting skills, please call our friends at KSDT CPAs. Trust me, they will listen to you, and maybe you'll be hired. Who knows? But reach out to KSDT CPAs to help your business grow and to help you personally with your taxes. Tell them that Big O sent you. Great people. KSDTCPA.com.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Don't forget Caneswear. Use our code BIG-O10 so you can get 10% off if you go online or personally. And remember, if you go online, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping at Caneswear. So make sure you do that. It's easy. It's so addictive. That place has got so many things. It's easy to pick a whole bunch of things. My problem is stop picking things. That's my problem there. I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I just walk out of there with a whole bunch of things. And it's crazy. It really is. Oh, man. We will have Manny Navarro join us at 1:35. Last night, Giants defeated the Packers 22-14. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do our 3A graphic sports calendar. Why don't we do that? Because Alan Blanco and folks are just absolutely amazing. Last night, 24-22, Giants over Packers. And then, of course, our Dolphins lose to the stinking Titans. That was just disgusting. Tonight, 10:08, Panthers and Kraken. Panthers are on the road, 10:08 face-off. Panthers are favored by a goal and a half. Over and under is 6.5 goals. Panthers minus 175 on the money line. The Kraken plus 145. Tomorrow, Heat are back in action. They take on the Horny Hornets, and that'll be at 7:30. Heat are 13-10. That is your 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. All right. If you need some printing, embroidery, you name it, they will take care of it at 3A Graphics. Call my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. I got to tell you something. This is all on the head coach. While yesterday was a team loss, I blame the head coach. The head coach doesn't have his teams prepared for primetime games on a consistent basis for 2 years now. Okay? 2 years now, Mike McDaniel sucks in primetime games. For 2 years now, he does not dedicate himself to the run. For 2 years now, he is failing to put his players in the best position to succeed. And it isn't because the play didn't work that he called. It's because he called a bad play that wasn't going to work. Okay? No more child psychology. That bullshit could work for some of your players. It's not going to work on this show. Okay? I like Mike McDaniel a lot. He's got a ton to grow still. He's got a beautiful offensive mind. He is not a good game day coach. Still can't get plays in on time. Still can't dedicate himself to the run. Still can't figure out how to use all of his players. And his players are not prepared for primetime games on a consistent basis. He is not a good coach. No one should ever call Mike McDaniel a good coach. He has a great offensive mind. He just doesn't know how to use it. Okay? It's pretty simple. It's like giving millions of dollars to a 16-year-old. They're not going to know what to do with it, and they're going to just do all the wrong things. And that's what the dude is right now. Okay? The dude needs to figure it out. He's no Eric Spoelstra. He's no Don Shula. Okay? You know, we're talking about coaches that can adjust, that can maximize all of their rosters, no matter what roster it is. And Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie have given Mike McDaniel a roster like no other coach has had here in 30 years, and he's fucking it up. Are we going to be honest or what? Okay? Are we going to call it like we see it or what? This is on Mike McDaniel and Mike McDaniel only. No one else. So he needs to learn how to put his team, his offensive team, in the right positions all the time. That's his job, and he fails at it. Okay? And the Tyreek dependency is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic on behalf of Mike McDaniel. Be a better coach than that, dude. Brother, if I can pick on Greg Popovich and Bill Belichick for not showing me something outside of with greatness, what the hell do you think I'm going to do to Mike McDaniel? Okay? I'm going to Scarface. I'm going to carve him up really good. Okay? All right? Revenga! Anyway, Manny Navarro will be next, and we'll talk about that. And we'll get to Mr. No Kneeling Mario Cristobal. What do we got on the chat board? McD has to stop with the ridiculous alley-oop passes at the goal line, those lame screen passes, jet sweeps, pass laterals to the edges. They simply do not work. Run the goddamn ball. Yep. Up by 14, Fangio had a big part of the loss. I agree. That fourth quarter I got game, for me, the coaches, more than anyone, screwed that game up yesterday. And Mike McDaniel has to, get his team better prepared for primetime games because he does a shit job on primetime games. What is McDaniel supposed to do with an unclutch QB if we really had an MVP we get on the field goal range? Wow, this guy is it's at least he's relentless. I give him credit that but you could get rid of the latest Dean Brown because we've already gotten rid of this Dean Brown many times, Sean. Force him to open another email. Let's see. Yes, I agree. As good as Shula was, he never managed to get an elite running back that helped Marino or a defense, dude. His defense is also Shula's problem was that he was a terrible general manager. Let's just call it like we see it. We all love Shula, but in the 80s and the 90s, he didn't have the help in the front office, and Shula sucked. So Shula was a marvelous X's and O's coach. He knew how to get the best out of everybody. Anybody that watched him year in and year out, very Eric Spoelstra. Very Eric Spoelstra. Oh, my God, it's the closest thing I've ever seen to Don Shula in this town or maybe around the league, in any league, is Eric Spoelstra. The closest thing I've ever seen to Don Shula. It's just magnificent to watch Spo and Shula in that sense. But Shula's problem was Shula the GM. Shula the GM was horrible, dude. I mean, fucking horrible. Terribly horrible. Pathetically horrible. Embarrassingly horrible. There aren't enough adjectives for me to describe the king-size stupidity of the Miami Dolphins in the 80s and 90s with trades and draft picks. It's endless the way that Shula and the front office tortured us. But somehow or another, with all the mistakes he made, he would figure out a way to make playoffs, which was just weird. But Shula's, he killed it, dude. He was terrible. That was really the thing that brought him down. Anyway. What else do we have here? Lofi, we're talking about Big O, Luigi, Big O. Our strategy now that Williams is out, keep Hill, Waddle, Armstead, and Hunt out until the Buffalo game. Sacrifice the next 3 and take the division against the Bills. Nah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think you need to beat Baltimore's an AFC game, bro. You need to win that game. Let's see. Dolphins are doing what Dave Wanstead did with Ricky Williams, heavily relying on one player. Yeah, but no, that's different. Completely. I give Dave credit there. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't have a quarterback that can get it done. I like Jay, but he wasn't the guy. Tua's the guy. Tua can do it, but you can't do it the way he's doing it. Listen, watch the post-game show. I explain it all. So, whatever. We will see. Are we just doomed then? I mean, at this point, is your label one that resonates, one permanent for Coach McD? I like the potential. Just we are left scratching our head. His most important moments. Well, he's a young coach. We're about to talk to Manny Navarro. There's another coach, right? It's kind of the same thing, McDaniel and Cristobal in a sense, right? Cristobal has a conservative nature that gets in his way at times, and he doesn't open up. And here's McDaniel, who has an incredibly too liberal offense and is not conservative enough to use the running game to balance it out, creating an imbalance, putting his team in a terrible position. The same thing that Mario does. By being too conservative, you then put your team in a terrible position. It's kind of the same thing. Just because they're opposite doesn't mean it's the same problem. It doesn't mean it's not the same problem. It's actually the same problem. Habitually, there's a problem with these coaches. And it just doesn't change. And they refuse to change. And when they tell you they're not going to do this, they still end up doing this because it's their nature. It's the weirdest thing. But if you look at it, the guy coming up right now, Manny Navarro, covers Mario Cristobal and covers that same issue, except it's just opposite problems. One guy is too loose with the football, and the other guy is too conservative with the football. And they both better grow up and figure it out, because eventually they will lose the town, because they will say, okay, this guy doesn't learn. And, Flo did a lot of that shit that was stubborn. We've seen stubbornness from coaches in the past, right? Manny covered a coach that would refuse to fire his defensive coordinator, right? You had another coach that his son was just part of, and you refuse. And so, hard-headedness, stubbornness gets in the way of some of these coaches, and it ends up burning them. Manny Navarro is next with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Right. How you feeling, baby? Good afternoon.
Doing good. Oh, how are you?
Good. Thank you for adjusting. It's been a long couple of days. So
I'm sure it has been for you, brother. I mean, out in Vegas, I'm sure you had enjoyed the concert. I know the U2 concert. I'm sure you enjoyed.
Both of them were amazing. The second one was my favorite out of the three that I've been to. If you go ever to the Sphere to see a concert, if you can get floor tickets, get the floor tickets and stand in the back of the floor, in the back of the bowl. And that's the best way to see the band and the video. If you're up on the stage, you don't really see the video. It's great because you'll be close to the band. I did that on the first night, on the second night, that is, which was on Friday night. I was just to the right of the stage, right next to Bono and all that shit, and it was great. But the sound and the video is the best. I was in the 200 section, the seats. The floor is cheaper actually than the seats. And if you stand in the back of the floor, it is perfection, dude. I mean, that was awesome. Plus, they did Where the Streets Have No Names, which they only did it 6 times in this tour, and that was one of. So that was cool because they alternate Angel of Harlem. No. They only alternate one song. When Love Comes to Town or Angel of Harlem. They'll rotate those songs. So you'll see one set with that or one set with the other. And then we were lucky. We got Where the Streets Have No Names. That was an extra song that they threw in only 6 times. And they did do Sunday Bloody Sunday one time on this Sphere thing. So whoever saw that then got that, But I've seen them do Sunday Bloody Sunday 1,000 times, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's where you would go. Stand in the back of the bowl. That is acoustically the best thing that you can do. So
I got to go check it out for sure at some point. Get to that Sphere.
That's my suggestion for all of you out there. All right, so let's get to it. It's funny because if you were listening, Mike McDaniel has a problem with dedicating himself to the run game. They are number one in per carry, yards per carry, number one in the NFL. They are number one in total yards, but they're 13th in attempts. Okay.
Wow.
And last night they again failed to commit to it. And it's funny because you cover a guy that is too conservative. So we got one guy too liberal and one guy's too conservative. Kind of, it's like our politics, right? We either got one extreme left or one extreme right? So right now, Mario Cristobal represents the extreme right, and then Mike McDaniel represents the extreme left. And we need them to come to the middle like the rest of our country.
I'm with you, brother. Yeah, that was tough to watch last night. Being up 14 points and blowing it with 3 minutes to go. That was as bad a loss in my mind as failing to take a knee and losing to Georgia Tech. It was on the same level. But Dolphins are in a much better place. They can still win, control their destiny. Hurricanes are still building, man. 12-12 in 2 years under Mario, and that's not good enough. And so they're trying to get the quarterback now to take them places.
What are we hearing? What do we know?
Well, Will Howard, Kansas State's quarterback, was here yesterday on campus, did his visit. Today it's Cam Ward. I've mentioned them to you now for a couple of weeks as guys that are high profile that Miami has definitely looked into. I'm hoping, and I think the hope is internally that this will be resolved by the end of the week, because they would like to tell all of their recruits and all the other transfer portal targets, hey, we've got a quarterback, right? We've got one of the best in the country. I think both of those guys are two of the best available. And it changes the entire complexion of next season. If you don't get one of those two guys and you have to continue this process, it hurts you, I think, with other, potential recruits and transfer portal targets. So, I think there's a lot of hope, and I think there's a lot of belief that Cam Ward will probably buy in and want to be the quarterback here. I've mentioned how Francis Mauigoa, the linebacker from Miami, played with him at Washington State. Francis recently over the weekend announced he's coming back for another year. So I think all of that kind of comes into play together. And I think Miami's gonna end up with a good quarterback here. I think there's going to be a lot of positive momentum here towards the stretch down the stretch here towards signing day and towards the end of the transfer portal time.
Bro, I mean, yes and no. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can have the weapon, but are you going to use it? You can have the best running game in the NFL, but are you going to use it? You know what I'm saying? So you can have a great quarterback. Are you going to allow him to be explosive, or are you going to go back to being conservative? So that's where, see, with Mario Cristobal now, I've crossed a different threshold. The player talent doesn't excite me anymore. Right. None of that means anything to me until I see what you do on game days. Kind of like Mike McDaniel now. It's nice to have the talent, but bro, show me on game day you can make the right decisions, because it doesn't matter, bro. You know what I mean?
100%.
You could be a 95-year-old man that, the body doesn't work that well anymore. And I know you're walking around with a 32-year-old babe, but bro, you're 92. You ain't really working that machine anymore the way it's supposed to need to be worked. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just so. It's hard for me now with Mario Cristobal to get excited about who's coming in until I actually know that the head coach knows how to use the talent that he gets. Right. That's my problem. So you brought in a spread coach, but you didn't allow them to spread it.
Right. And I think, part of that was the quarterback, right? Part of that was on him and some of the poor decisions that he made. Yeah. And I think the other part of it, is getting the coordinator and the quarterback coach to work with that guy and make him better. And I don't know that we saw that improvement. But again, we're not going to get answers to those questions until Miami takes the field in Gainesville against the Gators, right? We really won't know if Mario's going to change much. But as far as personnel is concerned, as far as the talent in the room, as far as, the potential for improvement, I think it's certainly there. And I think, look, let's not forget either. Mario has a lot of pressure here, ultimately, to start delivering some results sooner or later. And I'm not saying they're going to fire him. He's got, plenty of years left on that contract. Right. But, the people who certainly hand over the NIL checks, right, and help fund the financing for all of these players, they're the people he really has to answer to. Because at some point, they may say, why am I wasting my time? This isn't the guy. He's doing a poor job with whatever talent, we're buying for him. So, at some point he's going to have to deliver results. Especially with the amount of money I think they're spending in this class in particular.
Yeah, no. And, listen, he's got to start turning things around, bro. This cannot continue at this. This is not the pace that it's supposed to be happening. Year two, you already underachieved this year in my eyes. You should have won more games, and I'm blaming the coaching why you didn't win more games more than anything else. Recruiting wise, outside of the quarterback, or is that like the main focus before they move on to anything else? Because like you said, they'd like to approach everybody else with the quarterback. Is that kind of, we're waiting for that one domino before everything else moves on?
Well, I certainly think it's a big domino. I'm not saying they're waiting for that to fall, because they still have to build a team around that guy. But I just think that's a huge piece to convincing maybe some other guys who are interested in coming to come, right? Like to nail that down, to make them feel secure in that decision. Look, they're looking to fill defensive tackle. They had one of the best available dudes here from NC State over the weekend. A guy who's started quite a few games. I think they feel very positive. I forget the kid's name. I should remember this, but I'm forgetting what his name is now. But he was a 2-year starter for NC State and a quality player. I got it on my other computer here, so I'd have to turn and look. But he's a guy who I think the staff feels good about. They're looking at safeties. I think they like one of the freshmen that they're bringing in to come in and play right away, help replace Cam Kitchens. Zaquan Patterson, a kid from Hollywood Chaminade, who's just a stud. He's a top 100 recruit, but they're still looking in the portal for more help at that position. I think, receiver, depending on what happens here with the quarterback, there's some guys that are certainly just Jeremiah Smith is a guy they're looking to flip, have been all along from Ohio State. It's committed to Ohio State. And there's some other guys in the portal I think who are looking at the quarterback situation as well. So there's going to be upgrades to this roster, man. I think it's just a matter of, can you get that quarterback first? And then I think the other guys fall into place. But there's certainly a lot of guys interested in coming here.
All right, what do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I just posted, every year this time we start worrying about 5 stars and who's getting the best players in the country, which guys are going to flip. Well, I did a review of all the ones that signed in this last cycle, all 39 of them. And 14 of the 39 ended up starting games as true freshmen this year. Only three of them started every game as a true freshman. 2 of them played Alabama. One of them's Caden Proctor. The other one's safety Caleb Downs. And then the third one is Francis Marino, the right tackle at Miami. So it's an article, kind of a dive on every single one of those guys, who got redshirted, who played, who's in position to play going forward, that kind of stuff. And if you're interested in reading about all the 5 stars and how they did this past year, it's there for you to read. There's more stuff coming out. We did like a draft on all of the top recruits. We created all the Power 5 teams. We put a draft order and selected, the top recruits, the high school recruits in the country. It's kind of a fun little project that we did last year. We're doing it again. That'll be coming out soon. We'll have a new podcast on the Canes. So there's a ton of stuff, man. Just go to The Athletic. You'll see it there.
Love it. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up on Friday, my friend.
Thanks for having me, brother. Talk soon.
Yes, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro. Again, go to Caneswear and use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. If you go online, use our code, you'll get 10% off. Plus, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And if you go personally, use our code BIG010, and you will get 10% off. Peter German says, thank you for the love on Venmo, Cash App, or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Most telling stats, Dolphins last in the league at conversions on 3rd and 4th and 1 at 35% because they refuse to run. Also, we desperately need a functional tight end. They've been working at that. They've been trying to get it. Darren Waller 2 years ago. I told you they wanted Sam Laporta. Unfortunately, Detroit took him, and then they went with Cam Smith. That's just kind of the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here on the chat board. What do we got? Oh, man. Let's see. Greer has given McDaniel a treasure trove of injury-prone offensive linemen. It's only one guy. It was Armstead. Is the only guy that's injury-prone. Everybody else got injured. That happens. You can't fix stupid. Some of you out there, I can't fix if you're stupid. It's only one guy that had injury history that was really a problem, was Armstead. All the other guys, it's just bad luck, man. Nothing more. What else do we have? The problem with this team is the head coach. I've come to that conclusion. Can he turn it around is my question. Too much of a need to be accepted and relying on one player and same play over it. Well, that's bad coaching. You're supposed to use that player as a weapon and a decoy. And he doesn't use him enough as a decoy. And that's the problem. And hopefully, here's where Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie kind of need to have what's that stuff called when somebody has like a drug or gambling or an intervention, right? So McDaniel walks in this morning, and like Greer, McKenzie, and Allen need to be sitting in his office when he walks in. He turns on the light, and they're all there, and he's like, whoa, hey, guys. Good morning. What's going on, fellas? Hey, Mike, have a seat. No, you're not getting fired, Mike. Relax. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this. And you had your video guy all night last night putting together a video of why you're a complete fuck up when it comes to running the ball inside the red zone and why you don't dedicate to the run and show them example after example after example. Say, hey, Mike, when are you going to keep running the ball? Why do you keep using midgets for fades? Why do you make it harder for your quarterback to do shit like that? For Marino, they had a guy named Morande Gadsden that would do it. Mark Clayton could jump up 12 feet in the air. They give him Keith Jackson. They give him, guys that, might be bigger targets. And that's Marino, not Tua. And Marino's a tall quarterback. Tua's not, which would make it easier for Marino to even find shorter receivers. But, if you're going to high point the ball, then get players to high point it. Even Dave Wannstedt knew, hey, Jay, throw it to that guy, Orande. He'll make it nice and easy for you. Freaking Dave Wannstedt knew that the fade pattern was a weapon to a big receiver. There needs, McDaniel needs a little heat on him. I'm not talking about that he needs to get fired. I'm not talking about that he's terrible and this and that and all that. No, I'm not saying any of that. Okay? What I am saying is it's going to become a problem. Your stubbornness is going to become a problem. No, I'm sorry. Your stubbornness is a problem. You need to correct it. That's what I'm saying. So let's hope. Let's hope that he wakes up. Let's see. It's way too early to talk about the offseason, but there's no doubt Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, will be on their radar. It's tight ends on their radar. It's always been on their radar. They're trying to get one, but they want a dynamic one, and that hurts Tua too, that you don't have a dynamic tight end in this offense. You need that, man. All of these quarterbacks have had it over the years. You know what I mean? You want to have a legitimate man. Let's see, Joe Rose, Bruce Johnson, Keith Jackson. Shula always gave Marino a tight end. Always. And Mike McDaniel can't figure out a tight end. And by the way, Julian Hill was making some plays the last 2 weeks. Why did he not make any impact yesterday? Why didn't you call his number? It's the same thing as I'm saying with Cedric Wilson. He's making plays for you. You need somebody to high point the ball. Why not make life easier on your quarterback? It's bad coaching, dude. It's bad coaching. So, Connor Williams will be a huge loss. Yes, he is. He's a huge loss, no doubt. Although I believe Eichenberg will play better next week. Once he gets the practice, I think he'll be all right. I think Eichenberg's going to turn the corner and be a good lineman for this team. Big O, the Titans had a Derrick Henry. He was way better a couple of years ago, and Tannehill is limited. And how did they do it in the playoffs? Eliminating the playoffs. It's not about only running. It is for them. Frankie, you're completely off, dude. They did what they could do. See, that's where you are not understanding anything that's going on here, my brother. The Titans could not advance because they didn't have the quarterback. But they were smart enough to use what they had, which was Derrick Henry, and run the shit out of Derrick Henry. Because that's the only way you were going to get there, because Tannehill wasn't going to get there. That's smart. Dave Wannstedt is a smarter coach at times than Mike McDaniel, because he knew that he didn't have really the quarterback to air it out. So he ran Ricky Williams or Lamar Smith or whoever he had. At least he understood what he was. So, Frankie, the problem is Mike McDaniel doesn't understand what he is. You have the number one rushing team in the NFL with the number one rush yards per average. And yet you're not rushing the ball more than everybody else. Like Cleveland, they know what they are, so they run the shit out of the ball. Baltimore knows what they are, so they run the shit out of the ball. At least I give Dave Wannstedt this credit. He knew what he was, so that's all he could do. Problem is, he could not figure out the passing game. We have a coach that actually has a passing and a running game, but he refuses to use the running game. So, Frankie, you are comparing apples and oranges, my friend. Horrible comparison. Dolphins just not ready for, yeah, that's, you know what, Jeffrey? Mike McDaniel is not ready for prime time. I'm not even going to put, the Dolphins have the talent for prime time. Mike McDaniel, I'm sorry. Have I not said this a couple weeks ago, Sean? Mike McDaniel underachieving? Have we not done that already? Did I not do that segment already? Mike McDaniel underachieving? Let's continue. Mike McDaniel is underachieving. And they're 9-4. He's an underachiever. Okay? He can't even actually do what he is characteristically set to do. His team is set to run the ball. His backup linemen are struggling for pass protection, but they're effective running, but let's keep trying to pass. You know, I can't help you, dude. You're ugly, but yet you think you're going to pick up Halle Berry, and you keep hitting on her, and she keeps turning you down. Someday you're going to have to figure out you got to go somewhere where it's more your league. D Wolverine 305, thank you for the love in the super chat. Been a while, Big O, but you hear of Claypool being a decent blocker with his size and speed. Why not utilize him as a tight end at times? Can't be hard. They don't even utilize him as a wide receiver, my man. Now you want him to use him as a tight end? Julian Hill was making plays the last 2 weeks, finally. Disappeared last night. I can't explain Mike McDaniel. Can't explain it. There's no rhyme or reason to anything he does, dude, sometimes. That gaming dude with Reek out, is Tua struggling, or is Mike calling bad plays without Tyreek? Mike is calling bad plays without Eric Spoelstra, Joe Gibbs, Don Shula, right? You've got, I know some of you are young, and that gaming dude, you're probably one of them, but you've got Woodstock. You don't even have a quarterback, and you figure out how to win. You got Eric Spoelstra. One team doesn't even resemble another team 3 years later, and he changes the way you have to play, and he adjusts to what you have. Mike McDaniel is not a good game day coach. Mike McDaniel does not understand completely how to use his offense. Mike McDaniel is screwing things up. Not Tua, McDaniel. Not Bradley Chubb, McDaniel. Not Jeff Wilson, who they didn't use yesterday, McDaniel. Not Chase Claypool, McDaniel. Not Cedric Wilson, McDaniel. Okay? McDaniel right now is too smart for himself. And the problem is he doesn't even realize it. That's the worst. That's why I'm saying Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie, get your asses in gear, get the intervention going. Somebody deliver the message to the man. Please. And by the way, if I did not say it, that gaming dude, thank you for the love in the super chat. Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. Let's see. And Peter German, again, thank you for the love on Venmo. I don't know if I said it. Just ridiculous. Let me get to a little music and a little entertainment, since we always got to give you a little bit of that. Let's see what we got here. First of all, where are we at here? All right, let's go with birthdays today. On December 12th, we've got Frank Sinatra. He was born in this date in 1915. We lost him in 98. Jennifer Connelly, actress. She is 53. Regina Hall, actress. She is 53. Bob Barker. The Price is Right. Born on this date in 1923. We lost him in 2023, just recently. Let's see who else. Dionne Warwick. She is 83 years old, Dionne Warwick. Spark it up. Mayim Bialik. She is 48 years old, the actress and genius. Britton Dalton, actor, is 22. Let's see who else. Bill Nighy, actor, is 74. And let's see anything else of note. Sheila E., pop singer, is 66 years old. Her father played with Santana for many, many years. Sheila E.'s dad. Let's go with music history. Why don't we? On December 12th, in 1970, the Doors played what would be their last ever live show with Jim Morrison when they performed at the Warehouse in New Orleans. In 85, keyboardist Ian Stewart, a co-founding member of the Rolling Stones, died of a heart attack. In 2001, surviving Nirvana member Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic filed a countersuit against Courtney Love, who had sued them, claiming that the band's contract with Universal Music Group is void and that the rights pertaining to the group revert to her. Yeah. Somebody that does no work for it. That woman is a piece of work, dude, or something else. In 2000, Guns N' Roses announced their long-awaited album, Chinese Democracy, disaster, was due for release in 2001. It actually came out in November of 2008. In 2012, the surviving members of Nirvana, Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic, joined Sir Paul McCartney on stage to jam together. It was a part of the 12-12-12 concert that took place at New York's Madison Square Garden to benefit the victims of Hurricane Sandy. The Stones, The Who, Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen. Bon Jovi could still sing at that time, right? Bruce Springsteen and Roger Waters also performed at the event, which raised over $30 million. There you go. That is what happened today in Musica history. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here on the chat board? McDaniel really too smart, or is he maybe not smart as we thought? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. No, he's smart. No, he's a smart guy. He's just outsmarts himself to a point that it's stupid on game day. According to Big O, we had good depth on the offensive line. You do. You have good depth. I mean, you've never even had a starting line. Did you ever have a Kendall Lamb backing him up? No. So that's just one backup. Cotton's done a decent job. Eichenberg's done a decent job overall. You've had some guys like Keon Smith came in and did a solid job against the Jets. The problem again, Mr. De La Torre, you're not listening. Your head coach is not assisting your linemen. And in that game, you have 4 backups. What team in the NFL is going to run a normal offense doing everything with 4 backups, Eddie? Come on, bro. Let's let's get into reality and common sense too, because you're lacking common sense too. I'm going to take you. I know you're a loyal listener and I see you all the time, but I'm going to put your ass through the ringer now because you deserve to put through the fucking ringer. Okay. No line in the NFL with one starter and 4 backups is going to be able to do what they normally do. You can get away with 1 or 2 and your 3 normal starters in there, and that'll help. But now when you're asking your entire backups to come in, some, by the way, Edward, have become the 3rd stringers, okay, that are in there all of a sudden. Now you've got some real issues, but you're going to have some strengths and you're going to have some weaknesses. What were the strengths yesterday, Edward? They were running the ball. You were averaging at 6.7 yards per carry. You finished the game for 5.1, but you failed to assist what you could do best at that moment, which was run. Instead, you passed and you put your entire offense more at risk. Edward, my brother, you're not asking a question with a high IQ. You're asking a question that is dumb. Are we clear now on that? So anybody that thinks you're just going to stick 4 linemen in there and you're not going to miss a beat, you're an idiot. And if that's what you expected, Edward, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Are we clear now? Mike McDaniel is an idiot for not running the ball more often. Mike McDaniel continues to make the same mistakes and hurt his football team. The lazy just blames the players or one specific player. The intelligent looks at the entire picture and says, why don't you do what's best for the team, not what you think is best for your ego, Edward? Just like throwing a fade pattern at Tyreek Hill is catastrophically stupid on a consistent basis. Why, Edward? Because you've been throwing fade patterns to people that can get up way up in the air so they can high point the ball. Not with Mike McDaniel. He wants Oompa Loompas catching it at the lowest part of the football, not the highest point. Not very smart. Anyway, McD is still learning. He gets high on the high-powered offense and thinks he can do whatever he wants and it will work. Exactly. You got it right. So, anyway. Number 1 overall rushing, and we don't rush. Yeah. And the offensive line and the depth, it's the best. My Lord, it's been since, I don't know, since the 70s. I don't even remember having as many linemen that can actually do something for you and be productive. I don't remember this. We're in unknown territory. The only problem is we have a coach that won't run. I hope he learns. So, anyways, we lose the game. People are writing us off so stupid. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So, Edward, I've already spoken about it, my brother. You can rewind. You know, you're on a roll of stupidity, so I can't help you, my brother. So you're on that. You want to blame it all on Tua? Go ahead and blame it all on Tua. I've already talked about that. You can rewind. It's certainly not worth repeating. You already effed up with me not understanding anything about the offensive line. So I have no patience for you anymore today. I'm out of patience for you today. All I'll end up doing is ripping you again. And Tua played like crap, by the way. Everybody played like crap, but not even close to blaming Tua on this one. You know, the head coach failed everybody. And then Fangio. McDaniel and Fangio are number 1 and number 2 on why you lost yesterday. The players are like a distant 42nd. All of them. I don't care if it's Eichenberg's bad snap. I don't care if it's Chubb's stupid play. I don't care if it's the blocked field goal. I don't care if it's a Chan not running through the bomb that Tua threw perfectly, that he would have, who knows what would have happened with the Chan out in the open field if he catches that bomb. You know what I'm saying? Perfect pass. He slowed down, ruined it. Can't help any of that. Can't help any of that. But I'm blaming McDaniel and dude, Fangio in the fourth quarter, allowing that kid to just pass, that was ridiculous. So, he is allergic to running the ball. Oh, you saw he was breaking out in highs every time Mostert touched the ball. And at the end, what scored for you? Running. It's ridiculous. And by the way, somebody tell Edward De La Torre that the offensive line worked for the running game. For the passing, forget about it. Tua was getting pressured left and right. But no, for the running game, they could punch him in the mouth and run. But why not do it more? Because we're not very smart. By the way, the Lakers will hang a banner in their arena for the in-season tournament. Now, it'll be different than the championship banners, and they're going to put like the year, and then there'll be space. So if they win other ones, they can put it in there. That's how they're going to do it. I saw that. And I'm not big on everything being a conspiracy theory like some of you out there, especially when it like fits your narrative or whatever. But I just wonder if the NBA gave the Lakers and Jenny Buss a ring and said, hey, Jenny, we want to make this thing something. Can you guys, celebrate it and appreciate it? And, do you guys plan on putting a banner or something? Maybe, maybe, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that, commish. And add more importance to it. I don't know. I just wonder if they told them to do something like that. We were in Vegas and they were hyping the crap out of it in Vegas. And it just, I found it hilarious, to be quite honest. I wouldn't give a shit about an in-season tournament. If the Heat won it, I wouldn't care. Okay? I'd only care because it helps the standings. I wouldn't care about some stupid in-season tournament that means absolutely nothing. Okay? I know the attention-grabbing LeBron James loves to do something like this because it brings some attention. But really, in the end, not something I'm impressed with. I got to be honest. And I find it pretty much a joke. Shohei Ohtani over the weekend signs a $700 million deal. So you're paying $350 for the hitter and $350 for the pitcher. Is that what it is? Okay. He better come back as a pitcher because that's basically what you're doing. It's a two-way. It's the only two-way player in the world. Now he won't be the two-way player in 2024, but 2025. Can you get back to that? It's a hell of a risk. They have the money, that's for sure. And Dodger fans, have fun because you're going to pay a lot of money for tickets, man. Holy crap. $700 million. And I get it. There's nobody like this guy. This guy's an elite hitter and an elite pitcher. So I get the price tag. It's the risk. If he's healthy and can stay healthy, then it's easily worth the money because nobody does what he does. He can play every day. Yes, sir, Sean.
No, did you hear what he did with the deferment of the money?
Yeah.
To help them out?
Tell him.
I think what he's taking $2 million a year for the next 10 years, and then everything else is owed after that, interest free or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I found out? Somebody put out yesterday, Nightingale, I think he's with MLB.com now, or he just left there, is when he gets that money, It's when the contract expires. He leaves California. He doesn't have to pay taxes on that money.
That's that's where it becomes, smart on his part, because he's going to make money in advertising and all that all throughout his career. So he will make a ton of cash anyways every single year. This is how it goes, folks. Ohtani just received $20 million of his $700 million contract from the Dodgers over the next 10 years, with $680 million payable between 2034 and 2043. Ohtani's deal agreed to Saturday calls for annual salaries of $70 million. According to details obtained by the Associated Press of each year's salary, $68 million is deferred with no interest, payable in equal installments each July 1st from 2034 to 2043. For purposes of luxury tax, the contract is valued at a yearly addition to the Dodgers payroll at about $46 million. Under the collective bargaining agreement for the calculation of the team's tax payroll, the value of the deferred money is discounted at the federal midterm tax rate. For all the agreements this offseason, the discounting will be on October 2023 rate of 4.43%. Ohtani's contract, combined with those of Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, raises the Dodgers' total deferred money owed to $857 million between 2033 and 2044. Betts has $365 million covering 2021 to 32, including $115 in deferred salary payable between 33 and 44, and the final $5 million of the signing bonus payable between 33 and 35. Freeman has $162 million on a 6-year deal between 22 and 27, and it includes $57 million in deferred money payable between 28 and 40. Los Angeles high points of deferred payments are 2038 and 2039, when the trio will be owed $83 million, and in 2040 when they will be owed $84 million. By receiving the vast majority of the money when he presumably will not be living in the United States, Ohtani also figures to have a tax benefit. California's top tax rate residence is 13.3%. There you go. So is Newsom going to complain that he's not going to get any taxes out of that? Because you know them Dems want your taxes badly. They like to tax everything. They tax your ass going to take a dump if they can. Let's see what else. Who's next here? We got Brian Diaz. Thoughts on Gonk versus Jay Phillips at DE. Gink, or you mean AVG versus Jalen Phillips. I mean, right now Van Ginkel's outplayed everybody on the D line. He's been the most consistent player and the most available player. It's not even close. Jalen Phillips had 2 different injuries this year. So Van Ginkel's never injured, knock on wood. And he's always makes plays when you put him out on the field. So I've always been a Van Ginkel fan. What can I tell you? But thank you, Brian. Rice Taylor has to be perspective. 2 games ahead of Bills, 4 games from the number 1 seed. McD is incomplete head coach, but what a second-year head coach is. It needs time. People can't expect a second-year head coach to be a 4th-year head coach. That is very true. But for now, he is absolutely incomplete, and he is underachieved with this team right now. That's what I'm gonna say about Mike McDaniel, which I said a couple weeks ago. He has underachieved, and he continues to underachieve. Okay? That's all. That's what I'm going to say about Mike McDaniel. Great offensive mind, has a lot to learn on a game day basis. Big O's, the rest of the league is coming for our offensive line next year or when their contracts are over. They'll be fine, dude. Don't worry about it. They can find guys. They can develop guys. They're good. I'm not worried about any of that. I worry more about the coach complementing his offensive line the right way. When they can run block yesterday and struggle in pass blocking because you've got 4 new guys, and in a zone-like scheme, you have to know what everybody else is doing, and it's just not that easy. You got to have time playing together. And when you're throwing a bunch of people in there that have not played together, it's hard. But yet they were able to run block. So elementary, my dear Watson, do what you can do. Do less of what you struggle with. Anyway, let's see. Quite literally had nightmares about last night's game, says Matthew Lean. Lofi says AVP is only seeing 2 main pass rush moves. Just step in. That fails. He likes to try the spin move. Phillips' speed is elite and his strength has gotten better, almost even in my book. The problem where it's not even, it's called availability. And that's where Van Ginkel takes the cake. So, and he's outplayed him this year, period. He's outplayed Jalen Phillips, and he's on the field this year. You're right, Lofi, in the overall picture, the macro of it is that physically, talent-wise, Jalen Phillips is supposed to be the superior player by miles. But he's not. And that's the facts. The facts are he doesn't outproduce Van Ginkel, considering, what you're paying each guy, what they're playing, and all of that. Van Ginkel is the better player for this season. Unfortunately, he's available. He's consistent. Jalen Phillips is not. So Van Ginkel's got the edge for now. Jalen Phillips has to learn to stay healthy, and he has to reach the pinnacle that we all think he can reach, that I thought he was going to reach this year and did not because of the injuries. So, I know he's awesome, but he's got to prove that he's awesome, not flash that he's awesome. See what I'm saying? Why don't we see more Claypool and Wilson? Because your head coach doesn't know, because your head coach is not Eric Spoelstra. That's why. Next week will tell us all we need to know about this team. It's all kumbaya when it's going well. Let's see how they react to the national embarrassment last night. That's right. The Jets game will define this season. Come out dominant and carry against. Nah. It means you bounce back with the Jets. It doesn't mean that you've answered anything, because you still got Baltimore, Dallas, and Buffalo. Okay? You got to at least win 2 of those 3. And then I'll tell you they finish strong. In other words, Dolphins need to win 3 of 4. You win 2 of 2 or 1 of 3, I'm going to go same old Dolphins. I'm going to say, yeah, I don't feel good about you in the playoffs right now. You win 3 of 4, I'll feel good about the playoffs. You go 2 and 2 or 1 and 3, I don't feel good about you in the playoffs. It's going to be more of what we've seen already in primetime games with Mike McDaniel. And then I don't want to get ahead of myself on that one, but then that will build up some serious heat for him next year. Okay. He duds out like he did last year and has the mental brain fart like he did against the Bills. That shit, like yesterday when the first play you got stuffed with a stupid screen out to the running back, and then you couldn't get the play in on second down. That shit can't go on anymore. So it's up to McDaniel. How he finishes will determine how he's viewed next year. He finishes strong, win of 3 or 4, win a game or 2 in the playoffs, people will feel good about you next year. Lose 2 of 2, go 1 of 3 in the last 4, barely sneak into the playoffs and get bounced, and next year you come back on the hot seat because you underachieved and they gave you the talent. Those are the facts. Okay? Those are the facts. Because you can have a great offensive mind, but if you don't know how to fine-tune your offensive mind, you're not going to get anywhere, dude. And he just doesn't know how to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, if they go 1-3, they might not even make the playoffs. Either way, my point is the coach is going to, if the coach doesn't want to feel any heat, you better finish 3-1 and you better do something in the playoffs. Because if you don't, then people are going to say, you've got the talent. The coach cannot put the team over the top. And that's what it's going to look like, unfortunately. Okay? The downside of McDaniel, it's all scheme and timing routes. You can only build on that so much as the season goes on. That's not true, Lofi. You are the number one rushing team in the NFL, the number one rushing average in the NFL, and yet you don't run enough. That's where your point has nothing to do with timing, dude. That's where your point goes to shit completely. If your coach is smart enough and runs more like what you're characteristically built for, your passing game gets better automatically, because all of a sudden they've got to worry about the run. But then when Tyreek Hill goes out, and when yesterday you didn't do what you did against the Patriots, Lofi. They put a 3-man shell or they put a shell type defense out there. You didn't run the ball like you did against the Patriots, that you ran the ball 200 plus yards on their ass, which is what you should have done yesterday. You're averaging 6.7 yards per carry, and you refuse to run. By the end of the game, because you chose not to run, you dropped it down to 5.1 in the second half. 5.1. What does that have to do with timing, my brother? Or sister? I'm not exactly sure, Lofi. What does that have to do with timing? Zero. You know what it has to do? With a coach that doesn't get it. But you go ahead and jump all over. Let's see what we had yesterday. The look, the fire. Now we've got the timing. And we got De La Torre with, well, I thought we had depth. Come on, man. Let's go. You guys are better than that. Timing. You guys, you're making shit up now to try to fit a narrative that doesn't exist, by the way. The problem with the Miami Dolphins offense is that Mike McDaniel refuses to lean on its strength. Run the ball. Run the damn ball. That's what you need to do, Mike McDaniel. See what we got here. Let me see if we got any Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin donation too. Nothing there on Cash App or Venmo. We checked the crypto market, and Star Atlas is up 5.5%, up to 62,000th of a penny. Cardano up 7.5%, up to 57 cents. Polygon up 4%, up to 86. Atom is up 20%, up to 11.59. VeChain up 11%, approaching 3 cents. Love it. VeChain was all the way down to a penny and a half, man. So it's doubled up already. I love VeChain. It's a long play. Got plenty of VeChain. Been waiting for it for a while. It's a real patient play. But I think next year, 24 and 25 is going to be the years for VeChain. HBAR is up nearly 6%, up to 7.3 cents. Polkadot up 8% over $7. Polkadot's going to soar, man. And it's only at $7 right now. It's actually still a great price to get in. Chainlink is at $14, down 1%. Avalanche, $37, up barely 1%. Is already at $42. So It's gone down, and it's kind of like a little dip for those of you that haven't gotten into it. The Central Land, barely up 1.5 points. Let's see. Jasmy's up 5%, up to 58 thousandth of a penny. Immutable X, 1.5 points. It's just under $2 at $1.99. It was at $2.22. It'll get back there and surpass that. It was as low as 44 cents when we told you about Immutable X. Let's see. And Bitcoin is over 41,140. So for those of you that haven't gotten in, there's a nice little dip for you to take advantage. Those of us that have already bought the deeper dips, we're sitting pretty, as they say. Sitting pretty. Nothing wrong with that. Mateo says, why isn't Claypool playing 6'4" target? I've talked about that many times on the show and post game. I've mentioned it. So, I can't help, man. By the way, Top Gun Indoor Range, we will be broadcasting live on Friday there. Okay? So come on out and join us at Top Gun Indoor Range. There's the address, 12015 Southwest 114th Place. Call my guys out there, 305-306-7333. They've got classes for the ladies, so in English and in Spanish. And I think that's actually a really cool thing, man, because you think about this crazy world now, and self-defense classes for women are very important. Basic pistol, concealed weapons courses. They have it available in Spanish. They have an archery course also. They have archery public. They are the only indoor public archery venue in Dade County. They've got 18 different lanes, 25 yards deep for shooting. So it's a great place. Memberships, by the way, the better the membership, well, the higher the discounts. Gun cleaning, even up to unlimited shooting. So check out the memberships there at Top Gun Indoor Range. And, of course, the gun sales, they've got a wide selection, Glock, 6-hour, Smith & Wesson, all that good stuff. And there you go. So check out my friends at Top Gun Indoor Range, and I will be there on Friday, and Sean broadcasting live. Okay? Let's see. Yes, sir.
Josh, I just sent out a tweet. Javon Holland, he does his normal thing with the radio station on Tuesdays.
Yeah, with Hawk and Crowder. Yeah.
He's
I
saying
don't care about. I love those guys, man. I have no problem with them.
Well, I didn't want to say the the station.
And I have a problem with corporate. I have no problem with those guys. They do.
No, I know you have no problem with Hawk and Crowder. I know that. I'm just saying I didn't want to say the station.
It's not much of a sports show, I'll tell you that. I'll be honest in that, but yeah, dude, they're fine. They do a terrific job. So what's the deal?
Javon Holland says he has 2 sprained MCLs, and it's taking longer than he thought to get back. He's fighting through it, and he's hoping to get back. So those that thought maybe they were just holding him out, I don't know necessarily that's the case.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about it at all. Zeus Assassin. How much of a factor distraction is Hard Knocks for the Dolphins? Lots of talking heads believe the team is having too much fun and not being focused to win championships. What did that have to do with Buffalo last year, Zeus? Can you answer that right now, since you're watching right now? So when he didn't dedicate himself to the run against Green Bay, but especially in the Buffalo game, in the playoff game, you're averaging, I believe it was 7 or 9 yards a carry. And you get away from the run, and then when third down comes, you don't have a play ready, and you got a penalty, and now it's 4th and 6 instead of 4th and 1. Explain to me the same kind of issues that were happening last year are happening right now. What was there? Hard Knocks or dancing going on? Zeus Nation, Zeus Assassin, please answer. Please answer in the next couple of seconds here. I need to know. The same kind of shit that went on last year just happened last night with no Hard Knocks, with no dancing. Just explain to me. what does all of that have to do with it? Is it just convenience, or was it the same shit? Is McDaniel doing the same shit, what he did last night, than he did last year? Zeus Assassin, please answer the question before you're about to get blocked. You better answer the question. You better answer the question. Okay? You got a couple. Yeah, it's consistent issues, as you said, just a narrative. I'm tired. Okay, thank you. Okay. Stop it, bro. Stop listening to the media. Most of them just want to throw shit out there to get your shit going, bro. That's all it is. That's all they want to do. Clicks and views and create controversy and not just say what's actually going on. You know? But it sells more papers, it gets more clicks, and it gets more views to become sensationalistic and say that, oh, it's the Hard Knocks. Oh, they're dancing too much. No, they're not. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with bad coaching. It's been consistent. McDaniel has a marvelous mind, not a great game day coach. He hasn't learned how to use his brain yet. The dude is still figuring it out. I'll tell you when he's a head coach. For now, he's the dude. Let's call him the dude from now on. When he graduates and becomes like Spo, a real head coach, like, Shula, a real head coach that knows how to handle different talent and isn't a one-trick pony. You know what I'm saying? Like Belichick, like Popovich, one-trick ponies. Can't show me any versatility with your coaching. Then we'll talk. But for now, the dude is trying to learn how to be a real head coach. Okay? And it has nothing to do with Hard Knocks, has zero to do with dancing, has zero to do with any bullshit the media wants to create. I'm at a point where I think it's ignorance to make them stop the run, opens everything else up, basic football knowledge. Well, Matthew, you and I know basic football knowledge, but apparently Mike McDaniel doesn't know it. So until Mike McDaniel actually figures out that if you dedicate yourself to the run, you can win a Super Bowl throwing the ball 7 times. I don't really clamor so much for Jimmy Johnson's run down here like some of you blow smoke up his ass. I think it's as overrated as it gets, especially with the Miami Dolphins. Okay, I think he was freaking pathetic, actually. But I'll tell you something that he did say that makes a whole ton of sense. When you throw the ball, 3 things happen, and 2 of them are bad. And he's right. And that's why I love Don Shula. Because why am I going to make greasy pass? I know I have Warfield, but I have Zonka Kick and Morris. I have an offensive line. You know what? I'll make them pass a couple times when I have to. 7 times in a game. I won a Super Bowl. Oh, I've got Woodstock. I'll figure it out how to mix and match. Oh, I've got Marino, no running game. That's what I love about Shoes. That's what I love about Eric Spoelstra. You give him whatever you give him, and then he figures it out, and then he plays. That team will play the best it can possibly play because he knows exactly what it can do and it can't do. Mike McDaniel doesn't know exactly what his team can and can't do. He is forcing whatever he wants to do. That's bad coaching. And it has nothing to do with Hard Knocks. It has nothing to do with dancing. Eddie Lev says, this sucks. We should be celebrating right now. Game starts with a bunch of injuries. Lose Connor Williams. Interior line implodes without him. Coach not running the ball again. Crazy, annoying finish. You're right, Eddie. It is. Mateo, this whole team played like shit, period. It did. But again, I'm going to give Chubb a break. I'm going to give every player a break. I ain't giving Mike McDaniel and Fangio one break at all. They're the adults in the room. They need to be better. Okay? So they get no breaks from me, unfortunately. None. They screwed up. Do you still want to trade Jimmy Butler for... I wanted to trade him a while ago. It's too late now. It's too late now, Edward. Did you win a title? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Did the title happen? Or no, it didn't happen, right? So now you can't trade him. Maybe, well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. You'll have a chance on the trading deadline. The Philly thing could be something. It could be, but yeah, it's too late now. It was, you had to do that a couple of years ago, unfortunately. I would have made the move. That's when you would have gotten some value in return. But unfortunately, the bigger failure, Edward, I know you're trying to get back at me, but you're going to fail every single time pretty much. The bigger failure was that Pat Riley failed miserably to get another star. That was the real problem. The Jimmy era is going to be fantastic because he did the best he could do. But the idea was to win a championship. And really, in the end, you had to get another star. And now you're going to get the worst of Jimmy Butler because the body's just going to break down more and more. It's not going to get any better physically. So, yes, I would have traded him already. But now, the last hope is maybe Philly. You know what I mean? You're going to have a good season. Are you going to win the title? Of course not. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to win the title. They've overachieved incredibly for 4 years. But the idea was to win the title. And where Pat Riley failed was he didn't get the star. And by not getting the star, the Jimmy Butler trade was not maximized, unfortunately. It was maximized by Spo because he's the best coach on the planet, but not maximized by the front office. They failed, unfortunately. But don't worry. I remember when he first signed, everybody told me it'll be no problem. Jimmy will be able to recruit a star and people will want to come play with Jimmy. Neither one happened. Nobody really wanted to play with Jimmy because even the guy this year, Dame Lillard, his punk ass got weak right away in the knees when they traded him to Milwaukee. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll go to Milwaukee. So nobody really wanted to play with Butler. And Butler could never really recruit his own star like Dwayne Wade. But you believe everything they write. You go ahead and do that. So there you go. The Atlanta Super Bowl rubbed off of McDaniel. Amen, John. Amen. Running fades to a tiny wide receiver and throwing screens with under a minute don't make any sense. Maybe give it to your running back that's running angry all year. Joe Blow, why don't we put you in the fourth quarter to call the game? Because you'll do a better job. Joe Jones, I'm curious why they don't use other receivers. You guys keep asking the same questions. Rewind, I can't keep answering the same questions. In fact, that's kind of what it looks like. We're out of here. We thank Anthony Chang, Cameron Wolf. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank everybody that sent in a super chat. All of you that tuned in, as always, appreciate it. If you made a donation through Cash App or Venmo, thank you very much. Cash Big O Show or a Bitcoin donation. We thank Sean Stanley. And remember, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, we can broadcast from your place of business every month, once a quarter, once a week, however you want to do it. Give us a ring, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. On behalf of Sean Stanley, I'm Orlando Alzagari. We'll see you tomorrow morning from Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines at 10 a.m.
This is the Big O Show.